Yo, everyone, welcome to FSP episode number 91. Oh boy, it has been an interesting world to live in the past, say, 24 hours, especially if you're an Xbox fan. And it's been a little chaotic there. There was mass hysteria, mass panic, sky is falling mentalities from a lot of people in the community, and rightfully so. I don't know, but we'll find out, I guess, next week, as Xbox has a business update for us, which I've never heard that term before, meant towards the community as well. But that's going to be pretty interesting to see what Xbox has in store for us next week with their messaging and how do they douse these flames. Because that's going to be pretty damn
Are we
hard
getting
to do.
foam stars?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I
Oh,
think it's
that's how
exclusive.
you're going to douse it.
We give
Yeah,
gears.
it sounds like we're getting fired.
They get foam.
We're getting fired. It's cancel the Xbox community. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. We'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what
FSP is
happens next
canceled.
week.
We got bought out by Sony.
Yeah. We'll have to think of new names for Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Like, you guys are putting some suggestions in the DMs. You know, if the Xbox brand ceases to exist.
Yeah, what was some of them? I can't remember. It was like Dreamcast.
I find your all's
Ultimate.
lack of faith disturbing.
I have faith, Jasper. I have absolute faith. I've been more so than anything, like, just looking at the reaction and observing the reactions of things and kind of laughing about it at the same time, but at the same time realizing how serious of an issue this is for Xbox, right? Because, like, this happened before, right, in 2013 and stuff. But we'll have some fun with this and try and have a good conversation about everything that's going on right now. But first off, let's have some intros, bro. What's up, Jasper? How you doing?
Yo, pretty good. I've just been I made a Star Wars meme today about the Xbox community, so I've just kind of been playing around with all that fun stuff, because I think I'm probably gonna have maybe the most wild take on it in a positive light, whereas everyone else is like, I'm fucking done. So I'm just like,
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not done at all. I like whatever they come out with next for the hardware. I'm buying it. I love Xbox. I love the ecosystem, and I always will, as long as they make devices, because of everything within the ecosystem. That's just the preferred place for me to play, right? And I don't think anything happening right now is going to change that. But there's a side effect that could have a big impact. So, Fuzzy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Enjoying the Twitter Spaces.
Oof,
We
they are.
always could use a good community, not really cleansing, but like a good community crying, I guess. But some of the memes that people have been making, much like Jasper's, has been freaking hilarious on Twitter as of late. But man, we gotta wait another week. How far can we take this in a week? Like, is it going to be like survival of the fittest? Is this our battle royale? No, but in all seriousness, glad to be here with you guys tonight. We're definitely going to get into some stuff. Hopefully nobody sells their Xbox before the show is over, because GameStop should be closed where you're at, by the way. But no, in all seriousness, we're going to have some fun tonight. So let's do this.
Yeah, right on, man. And Fuzzy, you were on Xbox Factor today as well, and caught you there, as well as 3-Bit was too, made an appearance. Even though your mic was fucked up today on Xbox, or not an Xbox Factor, but a Breakfast with Boom. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks for being here, 3-Bit.
Yeah. And I seen you got the chat rod up. It's like, this is 3-Bit's fault.
Yeah,
I was like,
it worked. I saw somebody
The
say,
whole
like,
chat
blame
involved.
Asa. I was like, no, it's just 3-Bit. So everybody went with 3-Bit. I was happy to see that, because everything
that was
is your fault all the time.
Somehow.
It all comes back to you, bro. What did you infect with their minds when you were working on Fable? Like, what did you do?
Well, I told Phil like that all games should go to like the Switch, and maybe that was it. You guys think that was That was the reason.
It could. I know I know you like
Yeah.
the Switch, but maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, it's too late now.
It's too late now. I guess so.
Too late now. No, I've been moving this week. It's been chaos. I've
Yeah, I
been
like your new
working
background.
out and yeah, enjoy it for till like 2 months or so.
You
2 more
moving
months
again?
of shows, and then I'm moving again. Yep. And this will be the last time. And
This dude has
whatever
moved like
background.
10 times since I've.
Well, this space, this sort of room is where when I first joined Ultimate, this was the room. When I first was in my very first show, believe it or not, this is the room. It looks a lot different.
Yeah, it does look different. I don't
Uh,
recognize it.
Yeah. Oh, I usually would have like a blue screen or something. Maybe maybe
Oh
that's
yeah,
why.
yeah.
So, but anyways, we have an interesting show today. Most of the I was saying behind the scenes in the green room, most of everybody on FSP, we kind of were just watching. We're just like, okay, let's see how this sort of pans out. Because a lot of people are reactionary, and the sky is falling sort of mentality. Maybe it is like Matt said, who knows? But for the most part, I think it does help to just wait and see what the official announcements are. I don't. We'll get into it, but I do think it does help to take that approach and then just come from it from a level-headed discussion point. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot to sort of get into, but I'm gonna rely on Jasper for these next few ones. We'll see.
Yeah, I put a video out today about the emotions that I feel like some of the Xbox fans are going through right now. To Say Something was the song.
Yeah, that was so. I was
Like
dying laughing. So funny.
It's interesting sometimes, right? Because we don't know what's actually happening right now, right? Like now there's so much smoke that there's something to this. Based on also Phil came out today and said that they will have
What if it's like GoldenEye coming to PlayStation?
I don't think it's that. There wouldn't be this smoke or and that's already on Switch anyway. Like, but like there's Phil came out and said there's gonna be a business update, which a new term I've ever heard directed towards the community like before, but like obviously this is a time where they're trying to figure out how to deliver a message, or maybe they're coming to some final conclusions over the next couple days about what they're going to do and what they're going to say.
I think we may also get an ABK stuff kind of addressed there too.
Hopefully, that would be
because
nice.
with like business update, like how are they incorporating that and their future plans? Like that would make sense.
It does, but I don't think this is a planned thing. like I don't think this is a previously planned thing, right? I'm sure they'll kind of address at least a little bit of ABK with their messaging, but I feel like this is a how do we?
I'm not saying like getting like Game Pass announcement there. I'm just like,
right.
They'll just mention like this is how we're going to incorporate ABK and what we're going to do with them.
Yeah, possibly. I think more than anything, this is like what do we need to do based on this fallout, this reaction, right? This community like hysteria right now, right? And how do we still do some of the things we felt like we wanted to accomplish, but do we make the decision to act some of those things, or like what is the message we're going to deliver, right? Because whatever message they deliver needs to be concrete and needs to be the actual like what they're going to do. Right, so they have.
Freaking.
But the thing is, no matter what they say, it's not gonna be good enough.
Yeah, I know.
That's true. Yeah, 100%. And
unless they could say Halo's gonna be exclusive for the next 1,000 years, it was still not gonna be good enough because people would be like, "But there's doubt." Remember when this one time Satya said that there might be other games going to PlayStation?
I mean, they did that to themselves, though, Jasper. You're gonna say like,
that's what I'm saying is like it doesn't fucking matter. Next week really doesn't fucking matter.
I think it does. I think it does. Like,
I mean, no. Here's where I feel like it doesn't technically it doesn't matter. If you say like, for example, that hardware is still a part of your thing, which we've seen the plans, right? We've seen that they are working on a new um potential system. I guess maybe it's cloud based or whatever the case is. I feel like if you are saying that like your exclusives aren't necessarily important, and then you're releasing a new console, that console is going to be much more of an afterthought, and then every other console after that will possibly be an afterthought. So you can say like, I'm not hardware, we're not getting rid of hardware, it's still part of our business. But so exclusives was also a part of their business.
yeah,
So like things,
I agree. I agree with all that, but like we don't know what they're gonna say, right? But
yeah,
so that's
we
where
don't.
that's where the importance lies, right? Like we're all gonna be on our pins and needles for whatever this business update is, waiting to see what they say, right?
It might have a calming effect for like a year at best.
I don't necessarily think it'll have a calming effect, but I think I think whatever
Depending on what route they go with it.
whatever they say will be heard,
Yeah.
and there will be a massive reaction to it, right? That's where the importance lies, and that's where I think it is important for Xbox to get that right, because like I'm sensing from the community overall, like just the voice of the mob, right? 2013 vibes. You know what I mean? The biggest issue that they had back then, besides what the moves they were going to do with DRM and all that kind of stuff that a lot of people didn't like, was not having answers for the community and the benefits to the community and the proper messaging to back it up. And things kept spiraling out of control. Things kept growing and growing and growing. And there's a lot of other things that happen within that, as there's more expensive and, you know, Connect and all those other aspects less powerful. So that they had a huge trifecta of multiple things at the time. But the main thing was the DRM, right? That was people, and even third-party publishers and everything had bet that Xbox was going to be the number one platform going into the Xbox One generation, right? But Xbox fumbled the messaging and fumbled and fucked that up so much that the voice of the mob had such a huge impact, games media included and everything, that it forced them to have to flip that decision, right? And when they flipped on that decision, it was already too late. Like the damage had been done. People had already decided, because I remember talking to tons of people and friends and stuff back then about like people that I played Madden with, or Call of Duty, or 2K, or just whatever, like, you know, some of the casual games that I play. A lot of those people were like, yeah, we're getting PS4 next generation. We're getting PS4 next generation. All of them did. You saw like community dwindle from like this massive size into a smaller version of itself, and like the more passionate hardcore, right, had stuck around for the most part, but they've never recovered fully from that to what the brand identity was. And they, like, as far as the brand identity goes and what Xbox is to the mentality of everybody, this is almost a parallel in a lot of ways to kind of a lot of the sentiment that was going on around that time. And regardless of if I think everything's okay, like I'm just gonna buy an Xbox and play games like I always did because I like the Xbox the exclusives, even if they're not exclusive, I still like the games. I'll be playing them on my Xbox. I'll be getting Game Pass and playing the games that are in Game Pass, and I like my friends list. I like my interface. I like the ecosystem, all that stuff. Even if I'm happy, but I don't really care what other people are playing and what they get to play, right? Even maybe some of the games could be more healthy if that's the case. Even despite all that, even if I'm happy, even if I'm okay, right? The voice of the mob and the negative sentiment is something that Xbox should understand, not to let happen, right? To make sure that they are in control of the messages and the messaging, and not to do things that is going to cause the core fan base to feel betrayed, to where your core fans in turn become your biggest detriment, because those are the ones that
The community is speaking real loud right now, and the casuals are going to start hearing it, and it's going to just be doing damage. Like the Xbox community itself is damaging its own brand. Also, Xbox started it, but the community is damaging it too.
yeah, but
Like-
ultimately it's Xbox's fault.
Yeah.
Right. Xbox has to understand that. Like you can't not come out with clear messaging and understanding and say things and do something different to this fan base and not expect to have a reaction. You know what I mean? And like they've letting this get out of hand. They're letting it get out of control. Like as far as me, I'm all in. Like on Xbox, no matter what. Like I just the fact that Halo isn't on PlayStation is not why I love the game. Right? It's not why I love playing on an Xbox. But there's a lot of people, core fans, that it's as simple as here and now Xbox versus PlayStation. Right? Here and now, Xbox versus that. Here and now, I want to be proud of what I invested in. Here and now, I want to be sure that what I invested in is going to be secure in the future, and I want them to be strong and grow. And I don't want them to be weak-minded little bitches, right? And then start giving our toys away to other people. That's like really like a large part of it, because they fear the strength of the Xbox not being top. They fear it not being a strong competitor in the marketplace, right? That fear in itself and the message they're putting out is the thing that's doing the damage to potentially cause that, right? But Xbox has to realize that, and they have to make sure that they foster that community.
The problem with this, though, is like Xbox has never said anything. The community just went wild with fucking rumors.
Well,
that's the problem.
But maybe, so like there's smoke here, right? Because if there wasn't this much smoke, they would have already come out and dispelled these rumors. First off, right? Secondly,
it wouldn't be a business update.
They could have simply said, we see a lot of rumors online, like this aren't true. Right? It's as simple as that. You know, it could have quashed things like right away, right? Secondly, you have some of the most connected people within Xbox spreading these rumors and talking these things. And then it seems like they've lost some of the most hardcore, like diehards right now, that have backed them for so long, you know. And then once you do that, you know you fucked up. Okay, so there is I feel like there's probably like an all hands on going on here the last couple days at Xbox, especially today being Monday, and seeing what happened with Twitter yesterday, and them coming to how do we handle this. And they don't have an answer right now. If they had an answer, they would have just come out and said the rumors were fake, right? So otherwise, they're going to give us a business update next week where they're either going to have reverted some of those decisions behind the scenes and come out with clear messages, or they're going to come out and try and sell us on the benefits of what their ideas are. Right.
Honestly, Microsoft needs to, I think, crack down on the leaks, because fucking PlayStation doesn't have this problem. You know why? Because they don't have any fucking insiders to report this bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the problem. Like, Microsoft's too fucking leaky, and you get wild rumors that shit either turns out to be true or not true. Like, because plans fucking change behind the scenes, and then you won't get that update from these journalists and stuff.
Right.
It's
but
like,
to say these rumors aren't part of the. I mean, we don't. It could be some of it.
So supposedly somebody within Xbox that didn't want to see this happen is who has leaked this stuff, right? Because they wanted the voice of the mob to cause change and for them to be heard, right? Who that is, I don't know. Could it be a Matt Booty? I don't know, right? Like somebody like within Xbox wants their voices to be heard, and they wanted this reaction from the Xbox community, right? And so somebody that some of these people within the Xbox community that are more connected trust, where these rumors are coming from. Now, I do agree, like you said on earlier today, 3-Bit, that there's a lot of engagement farming going on right now as well from some of these people and stuff, right? So things are snowballing out of control for things that are just use the words as considering, right? Where Xbox is considering doing this, considering doing that, doesn't mean they've decided to do anything. You have those reflect the Game Pass rumors with Call of Duty, ABK games. It reflects things like Gears of War, reflects things like Starfield and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of considering people are mentioning in some of these rumors, but now that adds the fuel to the fire. It's like, this is what's happening. And that's the reaction from the community. And it's like, well, I don't want my Xbox to be less relevant than it was. People are going to think so. And then they're going to not sell as much. And then if that happens, then the third parties aren't going to find as much interest to put their games on Xbox because it's already been a battle to get them on Xbox anyway. And at that point, then the console becomes even less attractive to those people. And what are we going to get for hardware in the future if nobody's buying in the storefront, right? Because ultimately, the cash cow for this stuff is the ecosystem itself. It's the storefront, right? So if the storefront is less and less relevant, then what is there to be excited for in the future for Xbox? So that's where the sentiment comes from, right? And that's why people are afraid. Now, ultimately, the fear and the community outcry is what can cause some of that harm, right? Because you're spreading the message of Xbox sucks, Xbox no longer relevant, Xbox no longer matters, all these kind of things, right? When ultimately everything could have been cool. Like I could just be enjoying my Xbox games on ecosystem forever and not worry about it, even if other people get to play it. But this happened this happened in 2013, right? It has a massive fucking impact. And that's something that Xbox would be very smart to realize at some point in their existence. They would be very, very smart to realize this.
It's not just like we were saying behind the scenes. It's not just about you porting games over to PlayStation. It's not just about you putting something else on the Switch, like most of your library. It's not even about that. I don't think. I think it's the ripple effects of what that does to your own ecosystem and how that further changes the market a bit. Like you give Sony more market share, leads to them controlling revenue cuts, which can further up prices for games, potentially subscriptions. We'll just have to see how all of that pans out. It's hard to, because a lot of that is just potentials, right? We don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but I mean, just based on who Sony is and how they've seen the market in the past, I mean, it's almost safe to say that they will respond in a way that doesn't really benefit a lot of gamers. I don't think a lot of people are seeing it that way. I think they're like, oh well, I still got my Xbox, I still got my ecosystem. So this is where I probably differ from Jasper and
I think this
Steele's point of
benefits
view.
Xbox and the ecosystem more.
Oh, see, I disagree. I completely disagree. I think,
But I think
yes,
it hurts it short term, but long term, it's a fucking exponential growth that you can't even calculate right now.
okay, all right, yeah. You just broke my brain. So you think them just putting games everywhere is a benefit to
Because
Xbox?
this isn't about next gen play. This is about the next gen play.
So, but
So
this real quick though, but this also goes into like where Xbox has shot themselves in the foot numerous times and being too soon, right?
That's the problem that happened in 2013 with digital shares. They went too soon.
Right, but do you understand, like, regardless of like what you think and like what the reality could be in a perfect world, right?
I know
it's different than the reality with the voice of the gamer behind it, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like gamers are too short term focused. Like long term, this makes Xbox the number one player in the games industry, because what happens is it's not about hardware or consoles at the end of the day. It's going to become more PC-like, and people are like, "But the third parties are going to come. Third parties ain't going to fucking matter, because what's going to happen is games. They're going to use AI to just fucking port your game over to whatever system, and it's going to auto scan your hardware. Hardware at the end of the day is just going to run on whatever it wants. They're going to use AI to scan your hardware and be like, okay, these are the settings we need to play this game at or whatever.
To me,
that's the next gen feel or play. And also, about the Xbox owning the marketplace, they're going to have their own ecosystem across thousands of different devices.
Having
so you're going to be able to access games anywhere.
Is not an ecosystem. That's my point.
Because you log into Xbox, that's the ecosystem.
You putting Hi-Fi Rush on like the PlayStation doesn't grow your ecosystem. Like to me, it's like what Square Enix does where they get that short money and they're like, hey, look, we got this money up front. But what does that do in the long run? It can be potentially just damaging because they're not putting games on other platforms, et cetera, et cetera. But with Xbox potentially doing that, I feel like they're getting that money up front, but the console is the shortest base like of mobile PC. This is why I don't understand the decision necessarily. Yes, you get like what 200 million or 50
Yeah,
million or
because
whatever.
console's a dying market anyway, so might as well
Yeah, so
fucking
why?
start trend.
That's my point. Why put it on other systems if you are
I think
catering your game to such a smaller base? Consoles are the shortest base, right?
Yeah.
So
I
like,
think
You gotta-
I
you-
think most people understand
have
that
to-
too, Jasper. But like most people's thing is like saying this is too soon.
Yeah, I
Right,
know. I'm just
you
saying
know?
you have to play out this next 10, 15 years or whatever with console-like objects. But at the end of the day, if you can grow past that sooner than later, you're going to be the market leader. Like you're going to be like the Amazon warehouse. You're going to fucking be putting mom and pop stores out of business
maybe
because you'll.
I don't
maybe,
I don't
like-
see it because of Apple. Apple is the counter to your thought process on this because what's wind up happening with the EU making them break up that store, nobody's going to put Microsoft except for the enthusiasts on their phone as their primary store. As shown, the big reason why iPhones do so well in the US is because the default text bubble thing, the blue bubble, is what keeps them ahead of the game as far as Android in the US. The rest of the world doesn't care because they use WhatsApp or anything else but the default. But when it comes to like your phone, your PC, I mean, they already have Windows, but we all know that Steam is working on an equivalent so you can turn your gaming PC into basically a console to some extent. So for those that are the casuals today that are afraid of the big old PC, they're working on something that's going to beat Microsoft probably to the market. And Apple, on the other hand, is still going to control that at least in the States, is still going to control that store. So they only have but so much wiggle room. And going and putting everything everywhere, Apple's going to dictate and Sony's going to dictate their revenue cuts because Sony could say, you know what, we don't want these games in our store unless you give us 35% or
Yeah,
45%.
But my
Apple
counterpoint to
can do the
that is
same.
what happens to Sony in 10 years or whatever, or 15 years when the console market's not as big as it is. They're going to be hurting. They're going to have to change. Microsoft's going to be ahead of them.
Just
mean,
because
they
they're
already
ahead of
are
them doesn't
in a
mean
lot
that
of
they'll
ways right now, though,
outdo
too.
them.
Yeah.
Because look at it this way: Tesla is ahead now in many regards to GM
Yeah, they're the
and,
number
and
one
Ford, but
car manufacturer in America or whatever. So
right. But they started way later than Ford and GM. You don't have to be the first to market to rule the market. You just have to be the better store.
Yep.
And if you look at the
Microsoft
Windows
is-
store for PC, how good is that Windows store compared to even Epic or GOG?
yeah,
You
Xbox
think they're
is
all of a sudden going to
historically
make their Windows
uh,
store that much better? Like,
how many
this
products
is
has
not the way to
Microsoft
go.
had did that with? And I'm sorry to
Well,
cut you
yeah.
off,
Well,
but-
let's first before we got to get Bob and Psycho in here because they've been Game Pass Dad Bob.
Yes.
What is up, dude? And
Yeah.
nice hat, man. Nice hat.
Thank you. I had to wear it for the occasion. The sky is falling. It's time to panic. I'm burning my Xbox to the ground. No, I'm glad to be able to jump in and chat it up with you guys. I've been waiting patiently. No.
Yeah,
It's a good talk so far, though.
It's been craziness out there. It's Psycho. How many Xboxes did you have trade in today, bro? Where's Psycho? He's here, but he's not here.
Oh,
Well, I think he said he'll be like in and out or something.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
like
Yeah.
stacking up those
Now we can hear you.
There we
Xboxes.
go.
What's up, man?
Okay. For some reason, I was muted because the last time I was on was for that
Yeah.
Xbox event.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 0 Xboxes I traded in.
Oh, hey, they're on to something here. There are people waiting for that
But
business
I-
update meeting.
But I have returned 4 PlayStation 5s. So
Really interesting. People saying that, hey, we don't want to play Starfield on our PS5s. We're going to trade it in.
no, it's more of we don't. There's no need to get a PlayStation right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Like,
a
that's a
weak
lot of
year.
the sentiment. People are like, I'll stick with my
I think
PS4.
it's probably like more Florida thing where people needed like $300 to go buy some more meth or something. But
No, they returned it and bought a PS4 instead.
Just GameStop things.
Wow.
What?
Because they're like, I
Why-
don't need a PS5.
Why the fuck?
I
would
thought
that-
they believed in generations.
That would be. Why would you downgrade a PS5? Like you're probably getting
Because
$300.
PlayStation, because the PS4 has a bigger library, and that's all.
You can
these
play all the
consumers see.
PS4 games on the PS5. Doesn't make any fucking
Not
sense.
all of them, right?
But
Well,
it's
almost all
it's
of them. Like,
half, but
Yeah,
it's
almost
like
all of them.
fraction of the price. That's the
how
thing.
much is a PS4 right now?
PS4, you can pick up pre-owned for like $180.
So they're selling their PS5 for how much?
$5.
They're selling to GameStop for $500. That's how much they sell for.
Yeah, that's how much it's talking for.
Now, how much are they trading? When you're saying they're bringing the PS5s to GameStop,
No, they're
trading-
returning. They're returning. Like they bought it and then they're like, I don't want it no more. I don't want
So they
it.
bought it from
Like they
GameStop.
bought it, but then they
So it's
decided
within
not
the
to
return
get it
timeframe.
because they just want to get.
So
the
within
PS4.
30 days, they said, "Fuck this thing. I'm going to go back to PS4."
No, within literally like 2 weeks, they're like, no, I'm
Oh,
done with
that's
this.
it. Okay.
I don't want it. I don't want it. Just give me the PS4.
Make
Like,
sure they
okay.
trade in a real PS5 and not one of those air purifiers.
Yeah, right?
I know.
Or the
I made that
GS5.
mistake.
Anyway,
the Soldier Boy game console.
that sounds like some
Yeah.
weird Florida shit. I agree with Jasper. I don't understand. I don't understand that. For some reason, Fuzzy and 3-Bit are both frozen on the screen at the same time.
They're good for me.
Are they?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, okay.
Can you still hear me?
On
Yeah.
the stream, I'm frozen.
But
I'm
holy shit, who put this on their bingo card? The internet fucking going and melting down over what? Just really,
That was
it started with Nate the Hate and his fucking post, and they
Hi-Fi's coming to Switch potentially.
and then it just fucking erupted
Then,
from that.
then you heard a 3-year-old Sea of Thieves rumor that people are still running with. It's like, cool.
Yeah, and everyone's like, now they're like throwing, Gears of War, Halo, the entire Xbox category is going to be on PlayStation because it's going to make them money. And it's like, yeah,
I feel
Xbox
like
hasn't said nothing outside of what Phil came out and said. We hear you guys. We're going to talk to you next week. So whatever their goal is, whatever future they have for Xbox, it could be not as major as what everyone's ballooning what we're seeing and hearing today. And it'd be kind of funny. Love Tim Dog, but if he's upset over some things that weren't really true because he heard it from somebody, I don't know who the somebody is. Hopefully it is somebody with an Xbox and whatever the case is. But if they do decide to walk this back, because the outcries were to the point where they
on a podcast with
they
Tim
couldn't
Dog.
say it. They couldn't say it, and yeah,
Crazy.
it's right now. It's people are just have to wait to see. I'm not gonna sit there and say everything is fine because there's gonna be things that we might agree, but we'll see what their plan of action is coming in by next week. I'm hoping by Monday, but
It's gonna be a fucking interesting week ahead, man. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
and then if if it's like things that we speculated, like gas games and possibly like the smaller titles that possibly going for and other, like maybe they decided it's maybe but some of the Bethesda games that they're going to come out with, like smaller titles or whatever the case is with Bethesda and Activision. Maybe that's where they're going to go forward because they see, hey, we like what we saw when with this, and what is it and NPD or whatever they had with just this past holiday with Activision. They liked the numbers, and the numbers go, yeah, let's go third party. We'll make fucking great money for these investors. And that Phil Spencer's like, don't fucking do that, because you're gonna fucking destroy everything that I try to build. And right now, if we're not the industry, we're not there yet, but can't say they're never going to go there, because we're seeing the digital future coming up fast in this on the console market. I mean, look at Best Buy, look at Walmart. We're even at GameStop giving, because before we never did anything digitally. Now we're doing discounts on digital games. I never thought or saw that coming, but we're focusing
Yeah, I saw
on.
GameStop going out of business before they ever got digital.
No, dude. This is the crazy fucking shit. It's like they're gonna keep doing what they're doing, switching the focus on digital, trading in the physical games with the older titles that they can for right now. And if there are, like special editions and whatnot, that's where you're gonna get your um that's what you're gonna get your content. But a lot of the sales really from is like the Funko Pops, the collector stuff that we sell. That's where majority of our
Yeah.
business is coming from now. It's not even games anymore. Consoles, yes, but it's a lot of it is right now is collector stuff. So this we're seeing this industry changing right now.
Yeah, I was
We're
saying to Steel and Pong last night, I think what we witnessed is we witnessed a peak into a transition in the game industry that we haven't seen since the home console took out the arcades.
yeah,
Yeah,
and no
definitely a
one's
moment.
in this generation, the newer crowd, and they haven't seen or experienced that. So this is all new, and it is frightening to be an Xbox gamer or even a PlayStation gamer, because at the end of the day, if they see Xbox benefiting from this, I fucking guarantee it, they're going the same fucking move, so they can. It's all about the dollars and cents with these businesses.
Yeah, they'll
So,
just lag 6 years behind, like they do everything
well,
else
that's
with
all
the
they do.
yeah.
They steal Xbox's ideas and trying to make it their own.
I don't even
And
think
they're
It'll
like, well,
cost
we're
3 times as
better.
much too.
I don't even think it's as much stealing. It's just being late to the fucking party. Whereas on the Xbox is just
Well-
Xbox is always early, right? Microsoft is always early on this tech. The cloud. You have
I mean, look at the
Like,
Apple
that's
Vision
for
Pro
me.
that just came out. Microsoft had the HoloLens
They
shit
have the
fucking
HoloLens,
5 years
yeah.
ago,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Apple Pro, everyone's buying that now.
Right, they're always early, and they invest and then invent this stuff, and they don't
But-
finish. They don't finish the game, and then
that's my worry, Mav. Like they tend to always go half just sort of give up on things halfway.
Right.
It's
So
happened with Windows
this is
Phone
where
and-
I agree with a lot of the community about it's too soon, right? Because and I'm curious what you guys think about it, because I want to get Bob in on this, but hear me out on this thing, right? Because when Phil said before that they're the console space, they've lost the worst generation to lose, and then they're not gonna outsell Sony or all that kind of stuff, right? And then Satya and Nadella and with the ABK acquisitions, let us compete, all that kind of stuff, right? You have that whole idea of well, okay, let us compete, and this and that way, this ain't competing to be able to battle back. Now you got all this treasure trove of shit now, right? They have the best possible scenario to actually gain back in that market share and the mind share of the console core enthusiast gamer, right? This move right now from I think it's from higher ups like Satya and those people, is that console core enthusiast gamers only a small percentage of what we're doing, and they don't really fucking matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's
right.
What is his
And-
definition of compete? Make more money or
So
have more users?
well, that's the thing. Okay, so to the console market, competing is forcing people into your ecosystem, right?
Yes.
So I will say this: if all these rumors are true, let us compete. All this stuff, Satya Nadella, you have been a weak-minded little bitch to back out this early. I'm just saying, like, to back out this early after you get this treasure trove of shit that you can actually force the masses into your ecosystem with, pull a full-on Matt Booty. If you say, let us compete, you get ABK, and then all of a sudden you're like, we don't need to compete. We'll just put our shit over there. That's a weak-minded little pussy move, man. I'm just saying, you did not want to compete. You just wanted more games to make money off of on those other platforms. That was bullshit. And I'm just going to call it out for what it is if it's true. Right? So we'll see. You know, this is a money move, right? This is a money move. And this is
this is the accountants.
This is what the Xbox core would want to. They want to see the opposite of this. You know, so that's why you're seeing this reaction. And regardless of if I care too much, because I'm happy playing my games on my Xbox.
I'm always going to buy an Xbox. As long as the console exists, I'm buying it.
Regardless of that, the voice of the mob has power. And we have seen this with Xbox before. Bob, what's your overall kind of reaction to what's going on the last 24 hours?
I mean, it's definitely a dynamic situation that as you hear opinions and get more information is coming out, like it's kind of changed like day to day a little bit, because I definitely understand that everyone's passionate about it. Like, we all love Xbox. We want Xbox to compete. We want to have these strong first party titles only available on Xbox to try and get those consumers that haven't bought in to buy into what we're buying into. But I mean, there's also a lot of factors that I just am kind of amazed at how much this has spiraled out of control. Because I don't even think this is something like, one of the questions I have is, if this is the future, when were they actually thinking about implementing this? Is this something that they're planning on doing next year, like a year from when Starfield comes out? Or is this something that they're planning on doing a couple years down the road after they've established themselves? Because it's like you're saying, like, well, kind of like this information comes from sources.
I think it's more of a slow ride. Like, you're gonna maybe put it's not gonna be a day and date thing.
Supposedly,
like Starfield maybe comes like a couple years later.
Supposedly,
stuff like
Hi-Fi Rush is imminent, according to some of them. But some Starfield, they're saying after the Shattered Dimensions launch, it may come like shortly after that as well. So I don't know.
And like my opinion here is kind of nuanced, because I mean, there were a bunch of layoffs. There's a big shakeup in like the organization of Microsoft's gaming division and all these other companies. Like, who is this information coming from? Like, yeah, they might be reliable in the past, but are they also upset? Like, at that point, like, what's their motive behind releasing this? Because Microsoft's a giant business. There's a lot of things that get talked about all the time. And at that point, anything is up for grabs when you're trying to innovate and be like the next big thing in gaming. Because at that point, gaming is expanding beyond the console. I never even thought I would ever be a PC gamer. And now, like, PC is my main platform. I still love my Xbox. I love the Xbox ecosystem. But the fact is, like, are we going to just cut off Microsoft from trying to innovate before they even get a chance to do the business? Are we just going to give up on them? Like, my first thing is that I'm disappointed in kind of how the community is reacting to this, because we don't have an answer yet as to what exactly this is. And I'm glad that within, like, it wasn't as fast as everyone wants. Like, everyone wants a reaction immediately, but the CEO of a company or like big executives of a company can't just be reactionary on Twitter and come out and be like, oh, you guys are upset. Let's tell you exactly what we're planning, just so everyone can understand what we're about to do. You deserve to know. You deserve to have this information in the moment, because you are a valued
$3 trillion
consumer.
company, but we're going to answer to Joe Schmo that
you bought an Xbox and you've been subscribed to Game Pass since 2018. You've had Xbox Live since it came out. Good for you, Game Pass Dad. I'm going to tell you right now, because you're pissed off. I want to keep you happy. Like, no, I don't expect to know any of this stuff. I haven't been a content creator in the gaming space for long enough to expect to know all of these things, let alone like what some people are privileged to know. So it's like, for me at least, I'm glad Microsoft is about to address it. I'm glad that Phil tweeted today, but I feel like everyone needs to take their foot off the gas and stop making it a doomsday scenario, because we're just literally amplifying like the Because what do like the casual consumers see? Like, not everyone is like mentally ill and like scrolling Twitter like we are every day. Like, let's be honest, we all have a problem. That's why we're here. We love Xbox a little bit too much, right? So at that point, the consumer isn't gonna see like these arguments that make sense or anything. They're gonna see everyone running for the hills and saying Xbox is dead before we
Right.
even have a chance.
But-
They're gonna be like, "What's happening?"
Amen.
You know?
But that's what I'm talking. That's what I was started before you got here, Bob. That's what I was.
Yeah, I heard a
talking
little
about.
bit of it.
Because like this happened in 2013 before they had a chance
Exactly.
to showcase that vision, right?
Which Jasper makes a great point that like literally the DRM stuff, they're a little bit ahead of the curve. And like unfortunately the fact that
their
Xbox
detriment.
communicates with the community like means that there's an opportunity for this to leak for sure.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but because of that, regardless, for me, it's like, yes, but the community we've seen in 2013 has that impact to cause massive
Right.
damage, right?
And also
but at
can
the
be
core-
corrective.
Right, it can, but at the core, right? Like, whose fault is it at the end of the day? Yeah, because they have those loyal Xbox or that core Xbox fan base that they
Yeah.
have to understand how to message to, right? And have
Right.
to understand how to affect that gamer and that mindset,
Right.
And they have never really gotten that right. Like they did a good job establishing this community and
I-
everything over the last several years, but they're
I think we're
almost
getting better.
for sure, except
little
for
bit.
right now.
Yeah, just not right now. Because I mean,
Except for
they're
right
coming
now.
out. They're going to talk to us about it next week. Hopefully, they'll give us enough details so that we can make sense of it. Because I feel like what's been delivered to us is also through the traditional media metrics that we always complain about. But as soon as we have something to get angry about, we're just like, we don't care where we got the information. Let's panic. Get the pitchforks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like it's like there might be some positives here that just they're pieces of information that Microsoft wasn't ready to share or a strategy that hasn't been fully developed. Do I think it's going to be first party titles like that, the big major titles like Gears, Halo, Forza that are going third party? No, I feel like titles like that will be at the core. But some of these projects, like from back at the beginning, like ideally it would be best if Game Pass can be on those other platforms, but that's already proven to be probably an insurmountable challenge at this point in time until other companies want to like make trade in getting PlayStation games on Xbox or vice versa, if that ever was a possibility. But Sony releases their major titles on PC. What Microsoft is doing isn't so much different than what they're already doing. But I feel like people are just taking these games from Microsoft letting Bethesda or like Mojang with Minecraft or Activision Blizzard King with their existing games, releasing those on third-party platforms. Everyone's just assuming an immediate
Yeah.
doomsday scenario, and I just don't think that's what it
Right.
is.
I would also like agree. I'm kind of like, so I agree with you 100%, right? I agree with Jasper 100% as well. But I'm also like have PTSD from 2013 and what the community did to Xbox. And I'm like, for me, it was like, yeah, Xbox's fault for the messaging and everything and not delivering it properly because they never sold the benefits of these things to people. They just
Right.
like let random shit go wild, right? And then
Part of me is still afraid my Series X is gonna get a red ring on it. Like that's when I should turn mine
So,
back. Honestly,
I don't want to see that whole thing like. And what I learned back then is like, there's no stopping that voice, right? Like there's no stopping that angry mob of people that are overreacting and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like weird in this place where it's like I'm trying to come from the angle to preach to Xbox to yes, like maybe your moves, whatever you're planning is going to be fine or good, but you got to figure out a way to quell this shit storm that's happening as well. Like
right?
Maybe this is the way. Just get all these people
that.
that bitch all the time about shit they don't know. Get them out of the community.
So yeah,
Well-
they're just like, fuck all you guys, we're done with you. We can't keep pandering to you guys, you little fucking
Well,
podcasters and community members and
Told you,
I mean,
man.
that's the thing with the three different platforms. You have Sony, Nintendo, who are dead silent. Xbox does speak to their community members, and that's a good and bad thing in a way, because they feel like they have more of a say,
Yeah.
which they, and these people like Tim Dog and stuff who's actually played games with Phil, so it's being felt on a different level, especially with someone like Tim Dog who's literally has been in lobbies and has talked with Phil and all these different execs. So they're feeling it a lot more personally, and this, I'm in the camp, like I'm half right, where I can see business wise why they wouldn't want to make this decision. I just feel like it's too soon. Like Microsoft just constantly just does this thing where they want to innovate, but they don't want to wait for anybody. They want to sort of set the market themselves, and to their detriment, a lot of the times, whether it's Window Phone, different VR
Zune.
things, whether it's
Zune.
literally you
I
could
was
go
a,
down
I
the
was a
list.
Music.
proud Zune owner, man.
I
Like,
Yeah,
had
I
two
love
Windows
Zune.
phones, so
what was their streaming thing? Mixer, like, come on,
Yeah.
it's a list of things where they jump into a market, like they're basically trying to set a market that doesn't exist, because Nintendo and PlayStation they're platform holders and they basically have the games to themselves, but Microsoft is trying to set a new rule. They're like, we could do both. In time will tell what that does to a brand, what that means. Because I see still in chat basically saying like a lot of gamers are like on PlayStation aren't really buying a lot of those games. They're buying the same games every year. They're buying Call of Duty, Fortnite every year, and then you get your Spider-Mans occasionally. And I'm like, is it worth it to get that 10% or base of people for the sake of people jumping in? That's where I'm coming from. Like, yeah, you're putting a game on PlayStation, but is it worth it if you're only getting X amount of people
yeah.
to 50 million base? I don't think it's worth it, but these executives, they do, possibly, right?
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
To
But that's
like,
where my whole view is coming from.
there's been way, like, just like when we had our show last week about, like, are you gonna sell your Xbox if, like, yeah, they put Hi-Fi Rush or whatever, like, is obviously a joke thumbnail and stuff. We had good conversations during the show about, like,
Yeah, people were
some of
mad
this
at you.
stuff. But like, there's already been a couple people in the chat already say, like, I already sold my Xbox. Like, I was like, guys, like, this we don't know yet what the
there's been no
actual things
official
is.
word
So, like,
from the company itself.
Still to go out and be like,
yeah,
we're buying
I
PlayStation,
I
and
agree.
that's why you're here.
There's definitely smoke to where there's this much smoke, there's fire, right? They wouldn't be having this business update thing next week, and or they would have already quashed the rumors and all that kind of stuff. So there is things happening, right? But these rumors are snowballing out of control to where it's like every worst case possible scenario right now. Like, they're taking away games day and date from Game Pass. They're not going to put Call of Duty or ABK games in Game Pass. Gears of War is going to PlayStation. Like, there's like every single like thing keeps compounding on top of itself right now, and a lot of that, for whatever it's worth, like, we don't know exactly how concrete these rumors are or whatever, but a lot of this has just been, they've been considering, right? They've been considering, right?
Talking
Companies consider a lot of shit and get shot down. You could have somebody like in a board meeting or whatever be like, oh, I think it would be a good idea to do this because I like money, and everybody else be
considering
like,
being a millionaire.
dude, you're a fucking moron. Why would you even say that? You're gonna kill Xbox, you dumb shit. Like, and they're like, okay, well, it's just a consideration. Like, fuck off. And it's like, oh, hey, Xbox is considering doing this. Right? Oh my
Remember
god,
when
I'm gonna
wasn't
sell
it
my
Steve
Xbox.
Ballmer back in the day? He's like, I think we should kill off Xbox. Oh, they considered that at one point, but we still have fucking Xbox now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I just, like, wait and see what is happening. But I will tell you this, like, for the long foreseeable future, for the most part, you're probably not going to have any necessarily big changes to what you're already experiencing in Xbox. Like, the ramifications outside that could happen would be like long-terming effects. Like, if they put games on other platforms, all those kind of things, or whatever ends up happening, like, I would still say, like, for me personally, my experience itself will be the same as it is today, right? Unless they do, like, take back a whole Game Pass thing, like, that would be crazy, right? For me, that would be That would be worse than anything like that
Yeah,
they
if
could
they
do.
walk back Game Pass, then that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that because that affects my fucking experience, right? That's where I like hey, as a consumer that plays on this, I would have a major issue, but that's just a rumor right now. That's no of a consider. It's a rumor of a consideration, right? It's not a rumor that they're doing it. It's a rumor that we don't even know who the source is of a consideration.
Just like
Right.
that rumor today
Larry
that
the
Phil was,
janitor.
just like that rumor today that Phil was supposed to be on CNBC or whatever. All the fucking journals started reporting on that, and then it turns out, oh, he's not going to be on CNBC actually.
Yeah, the same guy. I mean, when we first talked about the rumors, and again, there's a lot of smoke to this fire, so a lot of this stuff could be true. But when the first thing I was saying with the Nate the Hate, who jumped in our chat, I was basically saying that he initially was saying, "Oh, a game is a notable game of the year game is coming to another platform." That was the first rumor, right? If we were to backtrack where these
Yep.
rumors came from, Nate the Hate was one of the first people who was basically like, "A game of the year contender is coming to the platform," and then people was like, "Confirmed, Hi-Fi Rush is coming to the platform," right?
Yeah. Well, I believe that.
Even though that's not what he said.
I believe that's happening, but
And,
like,
and
yeah.
then added
I mean,
on
that's
to
where
it.
the rumor came
Then
from.
added on to
And
it.
then-
Grubb said, "Sea of Thieves is coming
Sea of
out," but I
Thieves,
heard
but
that
was
3
an
years
old-
ago.
Yeah, and then the Sea of Thieves, which was an older rumor, which was like 3 years ago. Rare considered putting Sea of Thieves on other I think it's important to have context of where these rumors are essentially coming from. Those were the start, and then it rippled into other things with Jez and Tom saying like, "Yep, we're hearing the same things."
And then Grubb today again came out and said Gears of War is considered to be coming to other platforms.
Yeah, and then the rest are.
I mean,
feel
there was
like
also a PS3 version way back in the day,
Yeah.
but that was what 10 years ago. So,
And my point is that
See-
a lot of this stuff is not happening. Like a lot of this stuff could be happening, right? But like, don't jump off of a bridge right now just because of the
Yeah.
rumors. Because also because of the shitstorm that's happened, they could walk some of this stuff back. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
See, the things that
We'll
I'm
see.
possibly what we could be seeing is maybe if they are trying to do like a soft launch of doing like a timed exclusives for some of these games that they're coming out with down the road to see how they measure up on other platforms. If they don't measure up well, like let's say because we heard that possibly, like Disney said, "Hey, we would like to have Indiana Jones on other platforms." So let's just use that title. And right, it's Game Pass day and date, and then a year later it comes to PlayStation. And they don't get the sales that they're thinking they're going to get because they're thinking, "Oh, there's 50 million consoles. So, at least 10% of that will get a piece." If not everyone gets on board and buys that game because they're either it's in Game Pass, and a lot of these Sony dudes they have an Xbox, so a lot of them are going to be playing on Xbox and not buying it. So a lot of this could be trial and error with what to come to see how the engagement is for these games. They're possibly coming out smaller titles. I could see gas games. I could see like a 6-month or a year exclusivity on Xbox to get people to be like, "Oh, I like that game. Oh, it's an Xbox title. What else does Xbox have?" Maybe that's where they're trying to go to see, and eventually down the road go a little bit more heavy.
I mean,
It's
that's
in
what a lot
Game
of people
Pass.
want to see. They want to see
So-
them try the plan before
So
deciding.
they could just test the waters, see how things are, and if they're not getting the engagement from the other platforms, they're like, okay, this was, I'm kind of glad that we only did these 2 titles, because we're not getting the engagement that we thought we got. And, they don't lose the brand. The brand stays. They only lose 1 or 2 timed exclusives. In the long run, to me, that's fine. If 1 or 2 games are not exclusive to my platform because Xbox just wanted to test the market, so be it. But if it does well, then that's a whole different story, and we'll address that fucking situation when if they say, oh shit, this is really doing well. But the things that casual people, because working at GameStop, what I see, people still don't know what fucking Game Pass is. They know who Xbox is. They don't know what Game Pass is. I people they're like, hey, I want to play these titles. I had an Xbox One, and I just I kind of want to get back into playing some video games. I'm like, do you have Game Pass? What's Game Pass? I'm like, okay, it's only been out since 2017, but here we go. And and I explained it to them, and they're like, holy shit, are you serious? I'm like, yes. That's the messaging that Xbox has an issue with, because they do not go out and let people know that they don't they don't do well with messaging when it comes to letting people know about Game Pass and the features that they have on the console, and what makes Xbox great. Because the ecosystem, the fucking infrastructure of Xbox, everything that we love about Xbox is still there, and it is phenomenal. It fucking beats the shit out of the dog shit that Sony has. I do not like multiplayer on PlayStation. I do not like their party chat system. How they do all that is inferior when it comes to Xbox. Xbox is the market fucking standard, and they've always been that way, and that's what people come. That's why people been on Xbox even through the 2014s, 2015s, before when people were driving over to fucking PlayStation in 2017. That was the thing. It's like the ecosystem about, yeah, they didn't have a lot of games. They had Halo, Gears, Forza, and that was it. But now we're not in that. We're not there anymore with Xbox. Xbox now has 40 plus studios, almost 50 if you count all the little sub studios that they have, and they're fucking still growing. They can get their studios, if they give it just enough time before they start going, oh, we're going to go third party. If they give it enough time and let the fruits, or what's the saying, bear fruit, something along the lines. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Mhm.
they're trying let their plan fruition, so this way, it could bear fruit of what Phil's plan is, and they see, oh shit, okay. Because when people start coming to Game Pass on droves, because they see, oh shit, I don't have to spend $300 to get into the Xbox ecosystem, or I already got a PC. I don't have to, I just go and get Xbox Ultimate, and I can play a lot of these games on my PC that I already have. Or like, I got a tablet. I'm not a big gamer, but I just bought a fucking Samsung TV that has fucking Xbox. There's a lot of ways and when these games start coming out, and they're slowly 23 was a great year. 24 is going to be a great year. It's just, you know, 2022 kind of hindered everything. It slowed the process because no one saw games. But now they see all these games. They see, like, because the things that do hurt Xbox is a lot of these titles don't have a physical copy. So when they go to GameStops, they go to Best Buys, they go to Walmarts, before they decided to go take physical out, they didn't see the games there because a lot of these games are digital on Xbox, and a lot of these casuals don't see that, and they don't like, oh, I see all these PlayStation games. I don't see many games on for Xbox because my Xbox wall, when it comes to new Xbox titles, I got maybe we might have 20 fucking titles because a lot of Xbox first, like Hi-Fi Rush, there's no physical copy. A lot,
That's
Sea of
GameStop in
Thieves,
general though. Like I can't.
Yeah.
If I go into GameStop, like, hey, I would like
well,
to buy this game. They're like, what? We
but
don't sell games here. We just
no,
pre?
I don't
Did
they
you
just have the
pre-order
digital
it?
card though.
Did you
but
pre-order
that's the
it?
thing. I
Like,
don't even
no.
have Hi-Fi Rush as a digital card. That's a lot. That's other. There's not a lot of their games are not in the upfront in the consumer's face when they're looking at this,
Yeah.
but they see PlayStation, they do have a lot of stuff because they make sure that they have games
It-
available for customers to see. And
Is
I
that a
think
GameStop thing though? Or is that an Xbox thing?
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that's
think,
an
Psycho,
Xbox
to your
thing.
point, like Game Pass does have a problem. Like I've told my dad about Game Pass probably 10 times, and he's like, I don't care. Like he's just like he'll still look for games or whatever. Like Game Pass needs to get in front of people like where they can't avoid it. It's still hidden
Exactly.
on the computer. Like you have to download the Xbox app and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
but is
You have
that
to put it
if those
in
make,
more.
if they make these moves though, is that helping that case or is it hurting it? You know
But
what
the
I mean?
thing,
It could be because, like, if you look at Netflix back in the day, Netflix came out in like fucking 1995. It didn't blow up till like fucking 2008. It takes fucking time to develop. We're
Well,
still like in the early stages of Game Pass and what it could be. And what do you do when a new movie comes out? Do you look like how much does this movie cost? No, you look up where can you fucking stream it, and that's the long-term vision of what Game Pass needs to be. Is when you go to look up a game to buy it, you look up first, is it on Game Pass?
But
and
that's kind of why
that's the thing.
exclusives
Also,
are important in my book, because when you're subscribing to something like Netflix, you're like, oh, what's on there? You're like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that's
yeah,
on other platforms.
the
But
like
then you got like
Stranger
your
Things you got to
Stranger
watch on
Things.
Netflix, right? So
Yeah,
their
so that,
numbers explode every time Stranger Things comes out, right? A new
yeah,
season.
because that's
Yeah, but
that was
like
what people
they
knew.
just took off like fucking. They just took off all the Batmans off HBO and put it. Now it's exclusive on Netflix or whatever for right now. So when people look up like, oh, where can I buy Batman or whatever? No, they're gonna see it's on Netflix. So it doesn't even matter if it's a Netflix exclusive like developed thing. It can still have exclusive games in Game Pass.
Yeah.
And the thing with with GameStop also, and we see the physical media going away from Walmart, Best Buy. So right now, I hope I don't get in trouble, but at GameStop, we don't even have Xbox cards on our gift card rack. It's only PlayStation and Nintendo. That is it. The only Xbox gift cards is hanging above the used games and new games, and that's it.
that's
I
weird.
don't know how many people ask, where's your Xbox, where's Xbox Ultimate, where's my Xbox Live? I'm like, oh, it's over here. But right next to the Pokemon cards, because that's the first thing people come to, either Funko Pops, Pokemon, and then it's our gift, and then the gift cards. And it's this solid blue fucking section of PlayStation and all red for Nintendo, and then don't see a lick
Yeah.
of green.
But I see Xbox cards everywhere, like at the grocery store, at the
You
checkout.
see it because
like,
you play Xbox.
well, what I mean is like, if you go to like CVS or Walgreens or like fucking gas like 7-Eleven, or if you go to fucking like the grocery store or Target or anything, like when you check out, there's like a wall of little gift cards there, and like Xbox is always one of them. Like at least around here, But maybe in the Florida area where everybody's selling their
Xbox is always
PS5s
like
or PS4s
on the bottom
for
shelf
meth,
of gift card
maybe
racks for me. Like I don't know.
But
Well,
see,
see, the funny thing is, PlayStation doesn't even offer digital game cards. Like, you can't
Yeah.
buy
No,
a digital game
no.
for PlayStation except for in their store. So you would think
and people don't
there
even
would
know
be
that.
some room there for the Xbox.
At Target,
users.
there's this huge wall of like Xbox digital game cards.
Because people even come to my store to ask, hey, I want to get this game digitally on PlayStation. I'm like, The only way to get PlayStation games digitally is through the PlayStation Store. You can buy
Yeah.
the dollar
For the
amount
money,
of
yeah.
whatever and gift cards through PlayStation, and that's it. But it's not like Xbox and Nintendo where all those cards that you see above Xbox, those are all digital games. You can buy, you don't have no problem. I can look it up and I can get older games that are not on my floor. I can get digital games through GameStop, but you don't see that. No one sits there and says, "Hey, you can get this old game because it's still available digitally." As long as the IP still and the licensing is still good, the game digitally it's still available through GameStop if you just ask. But that's the thing, like consumers don't see, that PlayStation doesn't have a digital cards. You can only get their digital through their PlayStation Store. And then you see, and the people don't know because the digital side is fairly new to them. Physical is still the first way of how they consume their video games is physical, and the same thing with movies. And now with Best Buy
My bank does
and
now like
Walmart going away with
PlayStation
that,
games.
we could possibly see a shift
for
within
the
the casual.
people that are walking in the stores, right? But like for the masses, the numbers tell a different story, right? But like if you're walking into a retail
80 or
store,
90%.
you're going to be more of a physical gamer, probably, right? But I got to get to some super chats, guys. Alvin hit us earlier with a $5 super chat. Said, honestly, as long as their amazing roadmap of games are still getting made, I really don't give a fuck about any of the exclusivity. I think I'm in the minority, though.
100%.
I'm
Right there with
personally
you.
with you. I don't care either. I've been on the record numerous times. The perfect world for me would be we get to play on the best device, whatever games we want to fucking play, and it's more focused on a consumer decision about the device that you're playing on, about what quality that is, and then every game's everywhere, right? But that's not the world we live in because of the way the business is, right? So unfortunately, like it still has a huge impact, and like people are gonna speak up about it and cause interesting things to happen. Alvin with another $5 super chat says, also Xbox putting all their mega successful online games on PlayStation effectively nukes Sony's whole games as a service strategy and steals those profits. There's some truth to that too. You could be the Trojan horse and kind of infiltrate them from the inside out, and you become a dominant player in in their ecosystem as well. But as far as the Xbox console gamer themselves, like they're not going to look forward to that, right? And like they might see that as well. People are just going to find a reason not to buy an Xbox, right? Which is what everybody's crying about right now, obviously. So Sir X-Man with the $2 super chat says, wait to see the reaction when Phil says Xbox only. Yeah, it'll be so if Phil goes up there and like, hey, this is our business update, fuck PlayStation, fuck Nintendo, everything's exclusive. Yeah, it'll be like this crazy turnaround.
Yeah, but see, no one's gonna
happen.
believe him. They have to give you a roadmap, and they cannot falter on that for like 5 years.
Yeah.
There's some messaging things they have to clarify, right? They have to be like your digital libraries are safe. And also
They ain't gonna say that.
I mean, that's what he has to say. I mean, if you're going to basically be like, oh, all
That's the
games are
number one
going to
thing.
all platforms, that means you are basically saying your hardware isn't as important. Like, okay, so is my digital library safe? There's certain things that he has to hit.
They
feel
have
like
to reinforce with the panic of the community.
They won't address digital until next generation when it's an all digital console. And then by that point, they'll be like, oh, all your digital stuff will carry over, but then Xbox community is going to fucking riot because there's going to be some hidden DRM shit that they don't understand. And they'd be like, oh, well, I guess your digital libraries aren't fucking carrying over anymore because you all rioted.
But like ultimately, that's the core essence of where this comes from with people, I think, is like investing in Xbox. If they don't have trust of the consumer to keep even buying your multi-platform games or whatever games in a digital storefront, that's where the mob really has damage, right? Because
there's some messaging things that Phil has said in the past that people have relied on, and by going this route, this kind of
I will say
detracts,
that right now there's no reason not to have faith in that whatsoever. Like that would be crazy right? If they just like get rid of our fucking like access to our games and stuff like that is not that you're talking about crazy scenarios of bad, right? Like that's not going to happen. And but like that's where the mentality I was talking about earlier has this impact of instilling this like this um sphere out there to make people feel that way, right? And if people feel that way, it can actually cause them to feel that on the actual storefront where they're actually not selling as many games anymore now there as they were before, and like it could have bad effects. Like a community has a very strong impact, even if it's a small percentage. The ripple effects are immense, right? And like if you even if it's even if it's justified or not, right? The fear mongering or the fan base that has that voice can cause the damage to that it to where it does become a reality. You know what I
It's
mean?
what happened
So
before, right? It's
100, yeah, exactly.
it's a it's deja vu in a lot of ways. So they just have to clarify it.
Yeah, but if everybody was just like, "Hey, I don't care.
Yes,
I'm just gonna buy Xbox and buy my games on Xbox," like this was not a big deal, then there would be no issue, right?
Yeah.
But it's this voice of the negativity around it that then causes the issue to where it's a problem, to where that can affect sales, that can affect people buying into the ecosystem, that can affect people buying the storefront. But regardless of if it's a reaction from the community that's justified or not, it's real, right? And there's no controlling that. Xbox, like the only people that can affect that and control that message is Xbox themselves, and that's what they fucked up in 2013, and they could fuck that up again if they don't react and send a proper message accordingly to ease this, right? Because regardless of what the reality could have been, a different reality can happen, right? And we've seen that before with Xbox.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they had some cool stuff planned for the Xbox One, but people weren't ready to receive a lot of those features. And I don't necessarily disagree with all games going everywhere. It's just the ripple effects of what that can cause that I have a problem with. Like,
but it's because of
it
the
could be
reaction of the
done in
gamer,
a-
right?
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
Irish let's see. Oh
And
wait,
its
okay, sorry.
reaction to the media.
Yeah, Spartan661 with a $2 super chat says ABK games will be multi-platform. Is that so bad? I don't think anybody cares about the ABK games. They're
Thought we all
already
thought
on
it was gonna
multi-plat
go
anyway. I think people are freaking out when they hear Gears consideration and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like it just snowballed worse and worse and worse. You know.
They just threw fucking games in there that were beloved that were exclusive to Xbox, just the fear mongering. Because at the end of the day, a console base that is in turmoil is good business for the other people, because then they can try to steal your consumer base to help their base
100%.
grow.
That happened as well. Like the whole "this is how you share games" thing. The PlayStation took complete advantage of it. Behind the scenes, they reversed course on their whole DRM thing that they had.
Yep.
They removed they
man.
made sure they launched for $100 less. They came already prepared with a more
Keep 'em out of
powerful
the box.
console. They were ready to strike, and oh boy, did it fucking work, right?
Yep.
That's what happens when
So
you jump first.
regardless, like I'm saying, like of the reality of the potential future that you see, Jasper, that I'm okay with too, and as long because I like I said, as long as I can go buy an Xbox at the store, right, and have them on my TVs, right, and I have access to my games, and I have Game Pass and all this stuff, I'm fucking super happy as a clam. I don't give a shit if Joe Schmo can play Hi-Fi Rush on their Switch or Starfield on their PS5. I don't care, right? It doesn't affect me, right? But where it could affect me is because the angry mob causes such a like drastic mindshare shift that at the end of the day that causes problems to where now other multiplats aren't coming to Xbox and all this stuff, because that happened before. Like Square Enix games, all these other games, the stuff stopped coming. It's still a problem today. But like at the 360 was the lead horse for a long time. Like, and you had companies like EA and other publishers betting that Xbox One was going to be the go-to platform. They were doing exclusive games and stuff for Xbox One at early generation. All that shit stopped once PlayStation came out the gates and started outselling them 2-1, and then eventually 3-1.
But at the same time, like I hear that people are like, if we start putting Xbox exclusives on like PlayStation or whatever, like then the Xbox ecosystem is going to die and it's not going to look popular for like third parties to invest in it and put their games over there. But at the same time, like, you have to look at third parties right now. A lot of them are still hurting because they're only on one system. So third parties need to start spreading out too. Like Square Enix, for example.
Yeah,
like
but
they've been hurting because they've only been exclusive on one device.
They're only going to care too much about what the return on investment is versus development costs of making games for a certain platform, right?
Again, I think in the future, it's going to speed up development costs when you can have AI port your code over to another platform.
But when is that future?
Like 5 years away.
Okay, so then they should have waited 5 years to do this.
Probably.
Right. There you go.
Until next gen.
Right. So it's like it probably should have waited a little bit, but we'll see. Bob, do you think that I want to get into the business update meeting or whatever the fuck this is that we're getting next week, because this is a term I've never heard before with Phil Spencer, and
they're probably making it up as they go, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I would have imagined today there's like an all hands on meeting at Xbox, right? Like, right, everybody come in
Phil
here.
Spencer, Phil Spencer's like, you see, fucking Satya, you see the bullshit that I have to deal with now because you want to have this future.
And then secondly, they were like, all right, nobody's leaving this room until you tell me who leaked it. Nobody's leaving until you come clean, or else I'm going to execute one of you.
Start cutting off fingers.
Right, well, one of you is fired.
It was Gary the janitor.
Until whoever did it comes clean. You're going to see your friends get fired or whatever. Anyway, so
for a second, Major chugging Jack Daniels.
Major Nelson a couple weeks ago was like, "I'm back at Microsoft, but this time as a guest." So maybe he went into an old Xbox room.
He was actually the spy all along.
It's Larry Herb here. I'm here to tell you about the dangerous future of Xbox gaming.
You tell me now, or else Larry gets it.
Starfield's coming to PlayStation 5. You didn't hear from Larry Herb's Major Nelson. The next.
I know Nintendo does that. Like they put fake games in their catalog just to see who the leakers are, and then they give it to different teams, and then whichever team leaks that specific game, they're like, oh.
So well, a lot of times now you can put like a hidden like pixel like image, and then like you can like companies know how to like look for that. So if like you see an email going around, it's like, oh, there's that little hidden pixel. We know that Joe from Desk 13 sent it.
Yeah. Which, Xbox has done in the past, but I mean, this is a little different. But
Larry Herb inside Xbox this is the real inside Xbox now, giving you the real deets on the down low.
I'm in the Dragon's Den.
All right, so Game Pass Dad, what do you think this business update meeting is? What do you think they need to say, or like how do they handle this? Because ultimately, this is one of the most important times that they've had in the last in this generation to address the core fan base in a proper way, right? So how do they quell, regardless of what caused this shitstorm, right? How do they put out the bag of flaming shit without getting shit all over their shoe, right?
I definitely feel that this cannot be we can't out Pizza the Hut, we can't out console the PlayStation conversation. Like that's really the last thing that people want to hear.
Remember when Pizza Hut was considering putting like a laser logo of their shit on the moon? They were considering that.
You get so much pizza money, you turn into Dr. Evil. That's what Xbox is doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people, like you guys are bringing up really good points, is like everyone who is invested in this ecosystem wants to make sure that their investment is secure, because Microsoft has made it clear that backwards compatibility is the way of the future, and that everything we purchase on Xbox going forward in our digital marketplaces should be playable through the Xbox app and Game Pass going forward on whatever device we are playing on in the future. Which, I mean, for me as a PC gamer, I kind of start to think about that, and I'm like, well, a lot of my games that I've bought on Xbox, I can only play on my Xbox. I can't play it on my PC, let alone like not being able to play any games offline, which is a completely different topic, but equally important. But I do feel like we need a confident response from Microsoft as to, this is what we're talking about. These are the games that are for sure going to be published on other platforms. Because I feel like if these talks are real, then they have a plan for what they know is going to be on other platforms. Or if not, they need to confidently say, no, we are not going to do this. Maybe give an explanation of what those talks might have been, or what they are considering. But I really feel like some transparency in this situation would be great.
Yeah.
Because for me, a lot of this feels like it's just like, again, it was some kind of piece of information. It was a conversation. Maybe someone would be like, hey, like, what? Maybe they did a market study of like how Halo or Gears of War or Forza may perform on these other platforms versus the metrics that they've gotten from Minecraft, or knowing now from Bethesda and the Activision Blizzard King deal. Like, they have all this data now. Like, that's literally part of like what they get in these acquisitions, is not only the IP and the companies and the employees, they also get all this extra insight into the gaming industry and how these companies have run their businesses, to where maybe they have an idea of what they want to see as the future of gaming. But I feel like no matter what it is, like, I'm just basically speculating as to what I'd like it to be. But we need that brand promise going forward, that it's not a silly idea to invest in an Xbox anymore, and that they share what their plans might be at this point, because it's gotten this, they either share what the plans might be, or that they disavow whatever's completely wrong with how the discourse is going. I think those would be the type of things, like those main 3 points, like, be truthful with us, give us confidence, and like tell us what's true or not. Like, that's all we really want to see.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where all the concerns are. Because some people, I was in a space earlier, Tim Dog space earlier, listening, and some people were very upset,
Bravo.
and I can feel that. I don't feel that concern personally. I definitely feel like everyone's counting the chickens before they hatch, and a lot of bad actors are putting it out there for clicks, or just to rub it in the Xbox gamers' face because it makes them feel better about their purchase. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It's but those are the things I feel like a lot of people would like to see.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good points. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Fuzz? Like, Phil shows up at this business update event. That's so weird.
We're all fired.
Yeah.
Why should I even be about this? It's like how we plan to go green in 2024. Some shit.
Oh man.
So Game Pass Dad broke down what they should do, right? What do you think they will?
Public execution of the leaker. That's what everyone wants.
What do you think they will do?
Ah, man. Well, I don't want to get into what I think they will do just yet. What I hope they do, if any truth is to what we've heard, I want them to revisit the digital trade, digital sale, and exchange of games.
Yes.
I want that. Like, let's be done with this NFT BS and make it so you own these digital games. You can sell them, you can trade them, you can loan them to whoever. I also want to see a possibility of the implementation of Game Pass Family. Hopefully they get the third parties on board, but let's say they can't do the Game Pass Family. That's fine. Then I want them in this move to have gotten the third parties convinced that it's going to be okay to stream the games that you own without having to purchase an additional license. Because I think that was part of the thing that was stopping them from the Game Pass Family. So if they start coming back with, hey, you bought Elden Ring, you bought Grand Theft Auto, you bought, whatever is not a first party right now, you can stream that through xCloud. So if you got Game Pass Ultimate and you don't feel like, doing the console stream or the, remote play through your console, you can stream the game through xCloud. Or you can take that third party game that isn't a Play Anywhere title and play it on your PC as long as you're logged into your Xbox app. I want something like that. Those would be, must-haves for me for if any truth is to these rumors. They also must not pull some BS move like, oh, all ABK new titles, you have to wait 6 to 12 months before they go into Game Pass. They better not pull that BS. And they better not pull that BS with any titles moving forward.
As if long Call as of Duty doesn't come to Game Pass, they need to say it's because of a contract thing or something. Like,
and it better be for the only for 1 year type of thing. It better not be for perpetuity kind of thing. So the Game Pass model as it stands needs to stay. If any deviation from that on like a Game Pass Ultimate, just shy of them bumping up the price $5 or $10 more a month, which would be ultimately ridiculous, but that needs to stay intact. All the rest is everything else is noise at that point. I mean, it doesn't directly affect me. Sure, am I kind of upset? The console warrior in me is a little perturbed that you would take your new IP for this generation and put it over there. And I still have this envision of the Switch 2 comes out, you put that as a launch title over there, and you think you're going to get all this money because it looks like a Switch game. It has all the markers of a Switch fun type of game. And you're going to get lost in the noise of a Mario game or a Kirby game or a Zelda game or a Metroid game. There'll be launch titles because Nintendo, when they have new hardware, they at least have 3 of their first party titles. You think anybody's going to buy Hi-Fi Rush over a Mario game or over a Metroid game? Let's be real. Like even the numbers show the best-selling non-first party Switch game is Bayonetta. So you cut off your nose to spite your face, and now your fan base is mad at you because you put something over there, and you didn't even get the return on investment that you were hoping for. So it's like, I hope none of that's true, but if it is, it's whatever. It doesn't directly affect me, like I said. But one thing that will affect me, and just like Game Pass has caused me to adjust my purchasing habits, because I used to buy a lot of games, day one. It's like, hey, this third party, I'm really interested in this game. And then less than 3 months later, it's in Game Pass. It's like, okay, so I've adjusted what games would normally wind up in Game Pass. Those are the ones I just wait out. Then I get the ones where I know something like a Take-Two game, although some of those do wind up in Game Pass, but very rarely within the first year or so. Those I go and buy. So just like Game Pass has adjusted my buying habits on third party, some of these rumors, and I understand they are rumors, but where there's smoke, there's fire usually. And it's probably best for me to start building up my Steam collection as opposed to continuing to add to my Xbox collection. Because if the rumors have any truth and they do go everywhere, and then eventually the console base dwindles a bit, like let's say next gen, they only reached 25 million consoles at this point, as opposed to the 35 plus that they're supposed to be at now. Who's to say that, like we've talked about, like they're not going to phase it out instantly, but over time, my 600 plus games might not be accessible.
Yeah.
Will they even bother with a solution for, the physical games I have? Do I get a digital key? Is there going to be a process? Because they even talked about that. Like that was something that was considered before. And that was even after the whole 2013 stuff was shot down. So I'm hoping what they say addresses the Game Pass moving forward, Activision or all ABK titles moving forward, how that looks, good or bad or indifferent as far as what they say, but at least inform us on that. Inform us on, the hardware plans. Like I'm all digital now pretty much, other than, the beginning of the generation when I bought some physical games. But if your goal is to become all digital, let your player base know what steps they can take for physical exchanges, for digital keys, whatever, some sort of plan moving forward if digital is truly the way you're going moving forward. Other than that, explain your cadence on games. Like these moves will allow us to double down on releasing multiple titles, like more than 4 titles a year, first party, that will go direct into Game Pass day and date, that you'll have every year moving forward, type of thing. Like as long as they clear all of that, that doesn't directly affect or change your current playing ability outside of others' ability to play games, they have to make that messaging crystal clear. They could say their commitment for the next gen console and the next gen console after that. I do want to hear what their plans might be as far as a portable or a handheld, if that's even in the cards. I don't think that would be part of this meeting though. But maybe they discuss, their mini OS or Windows mini OS that's like Xbox for handhelds or Xbox for your PC, if you just want to turn it into a gaming PC to kind of beat Steam OS to the punch kind of thing. But I don't know. I think just clarify the noise, what type of titles may be going elsewhere, but hands down, win us back with the digital trade and sale, or third party games being streamable, things like that. Like give us the benefits, unlike what they did with the 2013. Because the big thing I see is like 2013, like you guys said earlier, they were too soon on some of the stuff. Ultimately, it would have benefited us all, but they didn't know how to explain it. I just feel like what we're hearing that they wanted to do, if they had just waited until holiday 25, like if Call of Duty
again, that's the
going into
thing
Game
though.
Pass.
Like they were waiting, but it got leaked through rumors and stuff. So it's like they were technically waiting. It's just
waiting to announce it. But like some of these moves are rumored to be happening this year, so I wouldn't really call it.
You can't just like you can't just announce that you're doing it and then like switch everything over the next day. You got to build it up over time.
100%, I agree. But like people are seeing this from within, I think, is why this is happening, right? So Jax82 with the $2 super chat says, what if they get rid of day and date in Game Pass? Like that would be bad for me. Like I've seen some people say that they need
Game Pass loses a lot of its buying power at that point.
That's the biggest go for exclusive that they have right now, is the value proposition. And like I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna still play on Xbox and all that kind of stuff, but like I personally will, but I would be thinking it's dumb as fuck. And number one, and also I would say that like I would maybe not play as many like first party games that I play right now. Some of the ones that I've tried out that I wasn't as interested in, you know what I mean? Like they kind of sold me on, like As Dusk Falls. No fucking way I would have bought that. 100%. Yeah. But I ended up enjoying it.
I don't know if I would have tried it if it wasn't day and date.
But I ended up, because of that, we tried it. We ended up talking on the podcast like, hey, this is an awesome game, right? Everybody try it, and the word spreads. I think it's just a bad move if they do that. But if it comes later, they come later in the Game Pass. Maybe those ones I don't care about, I would just end up playing that way. So I don't know how much of an overall effect it would have, but like I think it would be a bad.
It becomes your backlog game list kind of thing.
The interesting thing here is because I saw somebody, I think it was Jez, say this, and it made me really think about it, because we had this conversation on Friday about a potential, like, what could future Xbox hardware look like, and being like more of like a OS based thing where they could potential other manufacturers, all these things could make stuff based on that, right? But the core element would be the OS and the software, right, and the storefront, right? But then they'd have lots of different options for consumers to buy products, and Xbox could still make their own dedicated ones or whatever. But it almost feels like quietly, and not maybe not necessarily as quietly, but like Steam, right? They built this amazing OS with the Steam Deck. Remember, they tried to do the Steam Box thing before. That was a failure, right? So they tried again here with handheld, right? And they did the Steam OS. Right?
Well, the thing with the Steam machine is they weren't making the Steam machines; it was other companies.
Right. Exactly.
Making Steam
so that's
machines,
exactly what kind of I was saying that maybe Microsoft should do in the future, right? Like if you have, but I feel like they were too expensive at the time, and people weren't ready to play those kind of games like on TVs and stuff like that. And the controller didn't necessarily work out for them, all that kind of stuff, or whatever. But
Yeah.
you have this scenario now where the Steam Deck is super popular, right? And it's growing in popularity, right? And they kind of hit this aspect of like taking your Steam games on the go, right? The next Steam Deck or the next Steam device, they've already cracked a code here where people have built up confidence in that kind of a system and ecosystem. The next one is more powerful and more of a dock type situation, or they build a separate box again for a TV that's like a store-bought one. You have a system there from Steam in which you have every PC game, you have Xbox games day and date, and you also have PlayStation games going in there, right? So with Steam in the future, if they build another good box for a TV, you could be potentially fucking playing PlayStation exclusive, Xbox exclusives, and your whole Steam library on a TV. And this
is that exclusive at that point? Because then Steam's just another platform.
At that point, it's just another platform, just like Xbox and PlayStation, right? But they would already be that. Like, did the Steam just looking ahead at the future? Did Steam just kind of infiltrate the potential console market from the PC side? Like,
well, see, Steam didn't do anything. The console market evolved closer to the PC, so Steam just played their game.
Yeah, but the Steam is the storefront, right? Which
Steam's just been playing their game the whole time. They did nothing different.
Well, they made
the console market that's having to move.
But they made the Steam Deck, right? They made the Steam box. They tried that, then they shifted to the Steam Deck. I'm just saying, if they make another device for like a TV based device or powerful one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like gamers, and that point, like a lot of people would be like, I'm just going to get that because I can play every fucking game that exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like I saw Jez like saying Gabe Newell just behind the scenes, just like smiling like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a crazy thing to think about. But like, what if the future is more of a competition between like the OS things, where it's just random devices out there that we play them on, right? And at that point, the exclusivity doesn't matter, right? Because then everything's everywhere. But I think we're looking pretty far ahead. You know,
I mean, that's kind of already the play. Like, if you look at it now, Windows is losing its OS share due to Chrome. Like, Google's been making these shitty laptops that every kid in America is using for their school. Yeah. And that's where the power of cloud comes in. Google's trying to take over that market long term. We're just having every kid grows up with a Chromebook.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they do. And what is one of the first things that a parent does for sanity? Is they stick a fucking iPad in their kids' hands and just like, you know what I mean? Like, you get this like 10-month-old like, blah blah blah, ooh, colors and shapes, blah blah blah, ooh. And then by the time they're like 2, they're operating that shit like a fucking master wizard, like what the hell? How are they doing this? You know? And then
they already cracked the parental controls that you put on it.
I put that on my thumb.
Hey, Dad, I jailbreak iPad here. I put PS5 games on iPad
I got
for you.
Thousands of downloaded illegal movies. Here you go. Watch with you.
What do I do with all this stolen crypto, Dad?
I got 5 million.
I made YouTube video have 5 million viewers. Like, my daughter last year, right, made a TikTok of a South Park edit, and it has like 2 million views or something within the first like day. And I was like, what the fuck happened to my daughter made a TikTok? But then it was on a random account she made with a random email address, and guess what? That iPad died on that she had there. So in order for us to get access to that account again, I'd have to pay to have that iPad fixed because the iPad's broke, and she doesn't know what the password or the email address or anything is. And these kids just don't care. I was like, babe, do you understand how big of a deal that is? That you had a video that hit that many, and she had 5 videos on there, and like one of them was like 700,000 views, another one was like it had cracked 1 million. You can look it up, and she has like 5 videos, and like all of them are like crazy numbers. Like, my kid's a genius, but she doesn't care.
Like,
She doesn't care like whatsoever, and it's like
like
we
brand
don't, I
sponsorship.
don't even know how to get access to this, and like I don't know, like I just got to go fucking get the iPad fixed, I guess, in order to get it access. But anyway,
Freaking hilarious.
it's nuts. These kids, man, like they're gonna grow up and it's completely different from us. They don't have any like care about platforms and stuff, you know, like
The videos I used to make as a kid, I have more views on that than any other video I made like within the few years. It's just like those are dumb videos I used to make as a kid. I was like, what, like 10 on YouTube, like on like Movie Maker, Windows Movie Maker, just doing stuff, and it has like million views, 500,000, and I'll put like hours into a video, like weeks. I'm like, all right, what do you guys think about this? It's like 5 views. I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine.
yeah, it's crazy.
It is what it is crazy though. Yeah.
So we're gonna find ourselves in a different place in the future. I think right now, like, it's crazy with all this commotion going on, and I'll implore everybody again, like, just wait and see what happens. Like, there's no like just I sense this, like, you're talking, listen to the Spaces, Bob, and everything going on, and like, again, this is based on rumors that are probably some of them true, right? And things like that, but like, just take a step back, take a deep breath, right? Realize that at the end of the day, even though we're passionate about it and we love it, it's just fucking video games, right? And we have fun with this hobby. It's something we love to do.
It's
right?
about playing the fucking games.
And also at the core of it, it's the games that matter, right? Most, right? And that will never change despite different business practices from some of these corporations, right? And ultimately, will I still enjoy playing on Xbox if they put games somewhere else? I will, because that's not why I play, right? So I understand there's people that are emotional about this stuff, that are very, very on the edge, right on the ledge. Like, I saw somebody saying, like, Sting Jumper from Third Eye Blind, like, why don't you just step out from the ledge, my friend? Like, just like, we gotta chill out a little bit and let this play out before you go sell your Xbox to Psychonauts and buy a PS4.
Everyone's going the Padme route.
Right.
You're going down a path I cannot follow.
Yeah. It's a crazy world out there, man. Crazy world right now.
Yeah.
But
Quick question. Do you think they drop the news on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday?
Friday. We're gonna have to wait till the end of next week, like the last possible.
It's Friday.
Maybe they also want to take as much time as possible to get this messaging right. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably meeting with lawyers and the marketing specialist and stuff like this. Okay, like, all right, we got a problem, right? How do we address all of our gaming lunatic fans out there, and how do we address them? Because
How do we break up with them too?
These people, I get it, you guys care, but you can't, like, I think one of you guys said, you care way too much. So, like, we got to figure out how to handle you right now. And, like, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with that messaging, and then also what's going to potentially come out until that happens, right? Because I don't think the snowball of rumors and avalanche of random stuff is stopping. And in fact, I would say that, like, maybe more so than not, there's going to be probably something even more concrete come out from, like, somebody that's really in the know, like a Schreier or something, really kind of lay down a bunch of information, right? And then we'll see when that happens.
They need a big game to come out soon so they can silence the crowd.
Well, we got the Dev Direct. It's not happening until May, so
shiny ball.
Look, Call of Duty is now in Game Pass or ABK games. There you go.
Based on the fact that they didn't already say something now just to squash all this stuff, they're really having some plans and trying to figure out what to do here. And maybe they don't know exactly yet. Maybe they're trying to convince Satya to backtrack, or like the numbers guys, or maybe they're...
They really should have quashed. I mean, if it wasn't true, then they should have quashed it a while ago. I mean, now you have major.
Yeah, it'd have been
outlets and
simple.
stuff
Like we
talking
see,
about it.
they could have just simply said,
But-
like, "Hey, we see a lot of these rumors, but like we don't like. There's be careful what you read because there's
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it
it's not
started out
true.
with fucking Hi-Fi Rush potentially coming over to Switch. Like, are they going to a $3 trillion company going to come out and make a PR statement about that? It's like it just kept
No, but
snowballing though. So it's
then
like they never like. Do we intervene now? Who fuck cares?
But like, okay, so like last week when it got even crazier, right, on Friday, like, or Thursday and Friday, like they could have said something then. Yesterday when all this shit was going bananas, they could have said something then, or they could have released like an official thing today. Instead, they said we'll have an update for y'all next week, right?
Yeah.
So
And then
there's
before that, you had like Sarah posting like congratulations to like Persona and
Yeah.
stuff, and people like, what's happening?
Yeah,
What's happening with
you look at the comments on Sarah Bond's tweets right now, it's crazy, dude. It's
And then
fucking
she'd be like,
crazy.
yeah, this is awesome, Xbox, whatever. And they were like, Sarah, come on, talk to me. What's happening with the Xbox? You know,
What
people
happened to
posting.
the King David line, that hold the line? Like, everyone just forget that, or are they tired of holding the line, or like?
They only want to
I
hold the
mean-
line if they feel like the line is Team Xbox. They don't want to support PlayStation.
If they're winning a competition, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the messaging. Xbox has not been very good at messaging over the years, so they
I've
really
been holding
just
line
have
since
to-
2001.
Yeah, they've had
If
some-
this
they
goes
had-
wrong, it's time to coin a new phrase. Hold the bag.
Show me the money.
Show me no money.
Hold your Xbox in line at GameStop.
I won't return them. So fuck off.
1-800 cash now.
They'll become like
Bring all your
they'll
Xboxes
become
to
like the new
Psycho.
Rock Band guitars behind the GameStop checkouts. Just like a thousand of them. Just like, we can't get rid of these fucking things. Do you want to? Everybody that comes in, you want an Xbox? We got them here for like $2. You want the fucking Series X? $2.
Buy 3 Funko Pops, get a free Xbox.
Oh, man. I
Oh,
really hope
fuck.
it's not the future.
No,
Is that the
it's
Xbox
not.
mini
That's
fridge?
No, it's not the future. Bill Spencer
Fridge. I don't want-
said, I just want to read his exact statement. It said, "We're listening and we hear you."
That's such a PR statement,
That
but
is, we're listening and we hear you. Doesn't mean we're gonna
Hey.
do what you want.
doesn't mean we're gonna
Hey,
do it.
Xbox
Do that
fans,
in
do
that
you need
order.
a hug?
It sounds bad when you say it in that order. Normally, it's like we hear you and we're listening, meaning we hear what you're saying and we're going to do something. But when you say we're listening and we hear you, it almost sounds like
like we're still gonna do what we need to
We're gonna
do.
do what we want.
But,
Yeah.
So
We
now-
got plans.
now
You're not
we're-
gonna like it, but we got plans.
Now we're critiquing the listening and hearing order of events that happens with Phil's
that's why they
tweet.
get PR.
It's
for
like
this.
lawyers.
Classic
you
Microsoft,
told
tone
me
deaf.
to say we are listening and we hear you, but I was listening to FSP and Fuzzy was right. You should have told me to say we hear you and we're listening. You fucked me
Yep,
over, man,
yeah.
because I got it wrong.
They're listening to this show.
Time to lay off some of those PR people, huh?
Fire Fuzzy and call it a day.
We've been planning a business update event for next week. What they should have said is, we had planned a business update event for next week, because it comes across that maybe it's going to happen or maybe it's not. I'm just kidding. So we've been planning a business update event for next week. Probably since he made that tweet for the last couple hours before he made this tweak is when they tweet is when they
He made a
started
tweet.
Playing
He
Diablo
was
while
talking
making
on it.
his tweet.
before they started planning it. But anyway, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. They should have said every detail with you about our...
Why should it be like a business update where they're like, we're going to be investing $300 million into AI so Xbox can do better. It's gonna be some shit like that.
They're like, actually, we decided to buy PlayStation. That's why you keep hearing all these rumors. You're like, oh.
So Calorie said King David changed that today. He said to stand down, await orders, so no more hold the line.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
He changed it.
ooh. Is that going to
Kinda
be the
hurt.
new
Stand down.
T-shirt? Stand down,
Stand
await
down.
orders.
Stand down or lay down. Wait, what?
Um,
Oh, let's see.
Oh, man.
Grab
Oh.
the ankles. Oh, sorry.
Satya's coming.
No, that was Jim
But
Ryan.
what if the business update next week has Satya Nadella deliver the message?
Or thereupon, they're like, you got this.
Xbox gamers, we wanted to compete, but we can't no more. So thank you for your service. You are no longer necessary.
We tried to compete, but we give
Can
up.
we throw virtual tomatoes?
Bring back Larry Herb just for this message. Just for one-time
Hard for
event.
one day.
Hey, I got so J-Rock's posted something, and back in 2013 somebody messaged Phil Spencer about
Uh-oh.
the fight back starts now, blah blah blah, and Phil Spencer replies, I hear you and agree, we are listening. So they've been hearing and listening since 2003.
People have been waiting for
You
a
mean
while.
2013?
Yeah,
That's what I
it's
said.
You said
Yeah.
2003.
No, it's okay.
I mean, to me,
You know what I mean.
They're
that's
hearing,
another
listening,
added
and
benefit
traveling
to
in
this
time.
People is like,
Well, I mean,
they're at this space where they can finally deliver all these games, exclusives and stuff, and they're like, we don't
Yeah.
want to, and that's frustration for a lot of people too. But
I don't even know what else happened in
I
gaming
think some
news.
things
so-
are being walked back.
this is the
I
biggest.
think things are getting walked back. I think a couple things they're trying to clear the air, giving them, they're taking that week and be like, listen, it's going to be a major issue if we do this now. The problem is that, like Bob said, try to be clear and be upfront. If you can't say never happening, but right now it's not happening. See, it's going to be a
I
difficult.
mean, that's the thing. They can
Well-
straight up lie to you and say nothing's happening.
that's
'cause
the
we
thing.
never knew the timetable of this shit anyway.
That's the thing.
True.
They could just bold
I mean,
face
some of these rumors had time
to
frames,
save
but I don't think they're
to
right.
save the brand, because maybe it is, maybe somebody was disgruntled when they got fired and they saw something or got a memo about something because somebody saw something and they leaked it, because it's all about that same time when all 1900 people got let go and all of a sudden the shit just fucking stormed out of. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Wait and
Oh,
'cause
Mikey Barra. No, I'm just kidding.
they're listening and they hear us.
Hold on to your britches, everybody. We'll find out what happens soon. So one other thing I wanted to touch on before we get into tidbits, just real quick. Did y'all see Alana Pierce call out Destin Legary on Twitter?
Yeah.
that
K-Med
was-
also made
yeah.
that same
Where did
joke
this
like the
game
day
touch you?
before. K-Med's in chat.
there's shout out to Kim. Yeah, there is like obviously other people, like, because we've had this conversation on our shows, like about like what's going on with this engagement farming of this, like trying to, and like the community is speaking up more about that they're actually enjoying this game, right? Like I am, you did, Jasper, so
Yeah,
any
I beat
guys 3-bits enjoying it, like, and it's just come across like this media agenda is just like more clear, and engagement like farming and stuff with a lot of this stuff like is just so clear sometimes that even people within the same ranks are starting to call out each other, almost in a way. Like former IGN employee works for Naughty Dog and is also like streams and does YouTube stuff as well. Like Alana Pierce is pretty influential like with that stuff. To actually call Destin out on that like is pretty fucking great. It's like somebody within the ranks is like calling each other out now. Like, yes, thank you. for
It's like
that.
who? Where did it
Oh,
hurt you, Dustin? Where did it hurt you?
Yeah.
yeah. To me, like the whole discourse, I've been pretty consistent on what I've been saying with these companies, these IGNs and big sites, Game Rants or whatever you want to call it. They are punishing games for not being what they want them to be, rather than for what they are. What they are. That's happened with Starfield. They punished Starfield for being a Bethesda game. That happened with Suicide Squad. They wanted to be an Arkham game, like an Arkham sequel type game. They play the games and then when they're reviewing it, they have in the back of their mind, oh man, I wish it was like this. I wish it was like this, rather than whatever's actually in front of them. And I feel like that is a problem with the review process.
To give some context, I see the chat keep asking what did she say or whatever. Destin has been like nonstop posts about Suicide Squad or whatever. So Lana called him out when he made a new post today. It was like, where did this game hurt you or whatever, just like making fun of him because Destin's nonstop posting about it.
He's nonstop posting about this game, but like he built up the engagement from when he criticized it early on, right? And then the IGN whole no review code fiasco and all that stuff, and like K-Med made the same joke before, like with and it's pretty funny. And it's just interesting to see like this much backlash about something that's actually really quality, at the end of the day with Suicide Squad. So overall, I think the voices, the damage has been done, right? But there is, I think, it's better than it could have been with some of the people that are speaking up about like how it is actually good and calling out some of this BS from the community and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think Game Pass was gonna say something, but were you gonna say something about that?
Yeah, like I definitely felt that there was a lot of like the expectation, like they're judging games based on what they wanted them to be instead of like the reality of what's in front of them. Like 100%, I agree with that. It's insane for them to try and dictate what they want the game to be instead of judging. Like their job is to judge the game based on what it is, not what it isn't or what their wishes were, or expectations. Because there's a lot of things like as artists, like we can't like push our expectations on the consumer for what we want the artist to create. We need to let them make what they're going to make, and then we can judge it whether we enjoy it, not be upset that like we got a hamburger when we wanted a sandwich, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, that's the best analogy I can think of.
It's like the review scales aren't matching the production quality of a game. Like you're telling me like certain games are like 4 or 5s when it's like $1 million budgets and you're clearly looking at it. It's not matching.
Well, and like in the example of Starfield, like I can understand like what people thought Starfield was going to be, but I mean, really, it is what they basically promised us and showed us leading up. If you're paying attention to it, but then everyone's like, why isn't it like No Man's Sky? And it's like, well, they didn't really promise us No Man's Sky. They promised us a Bethesda game in space. Like,
and who kept defending their comparison to No Man's Sky? Who was it? Destin Legary. Interesting. Here, like, but I mean, come on.
And the IGN review definitely reflected that. A lot of the biased reviews reflected it, and they have every right to like have their opinions. But honestly, like I didn't start to like get irked by any of the systems that like were really critiqued in Starfield until I'd played it for like 7 days, like until I had like more than 100 hours into it. Then I was like, okay, I can see what people are complaining about, but mainly it's just because the discourse was there. It was a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. Is that formula dated? We could talk about that, but does it make it a bad game or like less than an 8 or 9 out of 10? Like I don't think so. Like I definitely don't think it deserves to be between a 5 or a 7 or anything lower than that. But like I would really like to see a world where we judge games for what they are and not for what we want them to be. Like I'm not going to go into the next Halo game wishing it's a Final Fantasy game, or be upset if they like as much as I'd like to see a Halo battle royale, I might be completely wrong on that. and I'm not going to hold it against the next Halo if it's not, or even the current Halo. Like there's a lot of other things for me to critique the current Halo about, but I would critique it for the issues it had at launch, not what it hasn't turned into because I wanted it to be that so bad.
Yeah.
Like
It
that's
reminds me of
a
the
completely different
Hogwarts
thing.
too. Like the whole Hogwarts discourse with the
Yeah.
media, like that's what it reminds me of.
Mhm.
Like that game was great. It reviewed well. A lot of people loved it, but because of like, oh, I don't like J.K. Rowling, let's not cover the game or do any like. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of that side stuff that has nothing to do with the game itself or what's supposed to be. That
Right.
that stuff irks me. But
Yeah.
And the more we focus on like the ancillary, the less we have like meaningful conversations about what's good about it, what's bad about it, what could be improved, and like things that could really move things forward versus just sit here bickering about things that ultimately
Yeah.
don't matter, or just things to like, because sadly when it comes to this type of thing or creating content, like whatever gets clicks is what's going to be the narrative. And right now we're sitting here talking for hours on end over the course of this week about what Xbox may or may not be doing. And it's like we're having fun doing it, but like like what happens when they're just like, "Oh yeah, we talked about it in like one meeting. We ran some metrics as to how our tentpole games might perform on other platforms, and ultimately we decided not to go that route, and we're going to do exactly what you told you." And have Bethesda and Activision and all the other companies we bought that already publish on multiple platforms release on multiple platforms. So business as usual. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of weird too. It's like I think the mentality, like overall, just with people and social media and everything, has gone so crazy the last decade for sure that it's created this. I don't want to get political or whatever, but like it's created this like environment to where like almost everybody's like an activist in a way and stands for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like trying to
Well, that's
impose
just social media.
well, yeah, trying to impose the way
Right,
that their views or the way that things should be is the way that like and trying to enforce that. And like it's infecting like everything. Like it
it becomes
entertainment.
polarizing.
Right. It's a polarizing environment all the time where it's like you stand on this hill, you stand on this other one, or like you see that what things should be this way or that way instead of being able to have like open, honest discussions about it, or just like accept the reality of the situation and realize that your one voice isn't really actually going to cause that much change, but you're actually maybe sometimes causing more harm than good because you're actually spreading a potential negative sentiment out there. That's then there's an opposite negative sentiment, right? That's then retroactively happens to where you create this like environment where everybody's just arguing all the time, right? And like that's kind of the world that we've kind of succumbed to with a lot of things, but like it's infected gaming as well, right? Where things can't be like judged just for what they are. Is again, it's like a view of what things should be or what's tolerated or what the games industry should become or like what should be allowed for games to do, what consumers should purchase, what people should support, what people should not support. And
weird way to review.
yeah, and it affects like social issues have affected it, like with Hogwarts Legacy, right? But then you have like political issues have affected it with games like Atomic Heart, right? And things like that. But then also you have just like preference all of a sudden, right? Or like we believe these companies are evil and they're trying to ruin our favorite things. Like we wanted Arkham and now we have games as a service, so therefore it's not allowed to succeed. We have to speak
Even
up and
Hi-Fi
make
Rush's review, that one review, like, hey, we were going to give this a higher review, but because it's on Xbox, knock it down a few points. I'm like, what kind of reviews?
It just isn't.
So weird.
And
It just isn't consistency.
Yeah, and I'm not saying people can't be passionate or have their views on the way things are. Everybody has a right to feel the way they do about whatever, right? But it's come so far that that's what almost all the discourse is, and it can be frustrating sometimes with somebody that like I personally try and kind of take a overhead view of things, right? And just kind of I'm more of observant with this kind of stuff. But even with something like this whole thing with the Xbox stuff. It's incited like this angry mob right now that really nothing's even happened yet, you know. So we'll find out what's going to happen soon. Everybody, I think what I want everybody to do is be happy, enjoy their stuff that they love, and enjoy their hobbies. And gaming, especially, is supposed to be something of a reliever, right? As something of like that we can sit back after a hard day, right? And
It causes me stress.
enjoy stuff and not necessarily worry so much about everything else, right? But sometimes things get ruined by people, you know, and sometimes
why we can't have
corporations
nice
too,
things.
you know, like I don't know. It's just interesting, man. Anyway, let's get into some tidbits. Are we ready for tidbits?
Starting it up now.
Let's go. For those that don't know, here, I'll do the whole thing. Here. Tidbits.
Boom Star. Coming out Tuesday, $29.99, or included with your PS Plus subscription.
Yeah, this is tidbits.
PS5 and PC.
It's tidbits where we look ahead at the games coming out for the week. Foam
Dad,
Stars,
can we have
number one.
Splatoon?
You got it at home, son. At home.
This is how PlayStation gets around it. Nintendo exclusivity.
PlayStation goes first party with your third party.
We're just gonna make your game and name it something different, and we're gonna make it foam.
We're gonna foam all over and enjoy it.
Over under on when the servers get shut down for this game.
I give it
6
less
months.
than 2 years.
Year and a half.
Okay.
Definitely less than 2 years.
Yeah, maybe
What
like-
if what if it sells like 11 million copies?
Yeah,
No
that
one's
would
buying
They're
this
giving it
one.
away for free, so
Oh,
it's in PS Plus
I think
essentially.
this-
oh.
I think this lives long enough to come to Xbox and
Okay.
then die.
And then hit Game Pass.
Yeah. Game Pass will keep it alive for that extra year, so that's why I'm thinking 2 years.
Get that Game Pass bump.
I don't even have a logo critique. It's so
Can't wait for that giant community meltdown. Sorry.
Here's the next one. Helldivers 2 coming out Thursday to PS5 and PC. Priced at $39.99 for the standard edition.
Yeah. Looking forward to this one.
Yep.
yeah.
And if you're on PC, you won't need a PS Plus subscription.
Quote
Yeah, I
unquote
haven't
exclusive.
played- I haven't played the first one.
They're doing some cool stuff with this. They have this like mechanic called a game master, where like the devs themselves are going to try to change the world and like how enemies like strategize to fight, because it's like a galactic map where you're trying to fight back against the bugs and stuff. The game devs are going to try to interfere and like give the bugs new strategies to fight the community.
That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
It does look like a good version of like Starship Troopers. Oh, there's mechs. I'm in.
Yeah. Coming soon after launch, though.
Okay, maybe not. They lied to us. Let's fire up another Twitter space.
Where's my Max?
We need clear
one.
communication about mechs.
Will there be?
This is Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition, so you get basically all the DLC. They didn't list the list price, but you're basically going to pay either $89.99 or probably a little less. It might wind up being $79.99 to give you a little bit of a discount.
starting to.
And this comes out Friday.
We will beat this.
PS4 and 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC.
Was there like different DLC from like the original game?
Who
Yeah,
the fuck- they put out a
have-
new Resident Evil thing every fucking 3 months. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like
There was like Chainsaw DLC. There was some main character DLC.
Yeah.
They had like I think 5 or 6. There it is. Well,
yeah.
they had 4
It's
main
like-
stories and then weapons and skins and stuff.
Oh, okay. So Gold Edition, or the edition that we should have just re-released it as anyway.
The remastered director's cut plus.
Plus. Give us your money edition.
Resident Evil's become like the
See-
Yakuza franchise where you get a new one
Yeah.
every 4 months, and like
Yeah.
I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that kind of strategy makes me think that Capcom isn't one of the greatest publishers.
They're doing great right now, though.
Well, I mean,
I
they're
mean,
doing
yeah,
well.
I like RE4. I started playing it.
Is there
Yeah,
another
so-
one, or is that all of them?
That's it.
No, just
Wow.
those three.
There's 3 games this week.
Solid week.
Big games.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Helldivers.
I
2.
didn't see any smaller titles, but I'm pretty sure there's probably an indie that I missed. But
Yeah, there's
I
some
don't
smaller
know.
stuff. I just didn't
Yeah.
feel like putting in.
Yeah, I mean, every week there's things that like aren't on
Yeah.
the list that come out. You know, that's like you go to the storefront and see that. But man,
Yeah.
overall, Foam Stars and Helldivers 2, and then Resident Evil 4
Resident Evil 4
thing.
DLC.
Gold
yeah.
edition. Yeah.
So, overall, little decent week though. You know, last week was crazy. We had a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think going into the next couple months, we're going to have a few big releases here and there as well. So, Powerboss says, don't forget Capcom is going back, adding de novo for 20-plus-year-old games they are releasing.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Mm.
And somebody else, with the $2 super chat, Alvin says, Tidbit, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo leaked for tomorrow's State of Play. So I guess for the Final Fantasy VII State of Play, there's going to be a demo come out.
There's a lot of good demos that are dropping now because Steam Next Fest is going on. So there's a lot of major like games coming out in the next or this year. So if you're looking for a game, maybe check Steam if you have it for if there's a demo available. I know Homeworld 3, Stormgate, and some other ones around there.
Yeah, I'm probably going to try out Homeworld. I love the first two. Way back, I guess, what is it, like 10, 15 years from the previous ones?
Yeah, there was Homeworld 1 came out in like 2000, I don't even know, like 5 or 4 or something. And then Homeworld 2, like Deserts of Karachi or whatever it was called, came out in like 2015, I think.
Mm.
Am I an idiot if I don't know what de novo is?
It's
It's like a DRM.
It's,
DRM
yeah,
thing.
the DRM stuff.
Oh,
The
okay,
event-
okay,
the
yeah,
annual
yeah.
or pirating.
Performance and-
DRM?
Yeah.
Ah! No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, everybody, this has been real. This has been a great conversation. Thank you to everybody who has joined in the chat. And we got more shows coming this week. Tomorrow, cross my fingers, be able to do a fun pop, but we'll see what happens. Supposedly Halo 2 is awesome. Or Halo series season 2 is
Halo 2 is awesome.
yeah, Halo 2 is
I mean,
100% is awesome. Halo season 2 is at least way better. It's like sitting at 88% Rotten Tomatoes or whatever right now.
Yeah.
So
They only got to
out?
see the first episode, I think.
yeah.
The reviewers,
right now?
and I heard that the second episode is supposed to have
No.
a lot of that one
Master
bitch
Cheeks?
that no one like. No, the
Oh,
yeah, I forgot her
More
name.
Master Cheeks.
Kwan Ha, that's her name. Supposed to have her in.
Oh, great.
oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yay.
Queefa.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And everybody, you rock in the chat. And we'll have PM in the PM on Thursday and Xbox Ultimate on Friday. We'll see what happens the rest of this week. Psycho, tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Well, chat. I will laugh my ass off if PlayStation gets Recore. If they get
To record.
They get Redfall.
Redfall.
Redfall, if they get
We beta tested it for them.
There you go.
Bleeding Edge. These are the games that are coming to PlayStation. Joke's on you. Haha. Enjoy your
Get
exclusives.
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive.
Supposedly
yes.
they're looking at remastering that finally for PS5.
Yeah,
I'll be down.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, they just need to give Xbox a 60 FPS patch. I mean, all we got to do is flip a switch. It's ready. Chat, thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's been fucking crazy. I know it's been a shit show. Phil Spencer said, wait a week. That's what we got to do. I'm not going to fucking sell my Xbox before then or get upset and, sit there and trying to rebrand myself because at the end of the fucking day, it's fucking games, guys. But you find me on social media, Psychonauts everywhere. Find me here Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, 10 o'clock on the Fun Speculation Network. Except for lately, I've been working open and closed, so it's like I can't do it. I'm like, right now I'm ready to nod off. So thank you guys for coming out, and we'll see you Friday.
Right on, bro. And Jasper, how about you, man?
Yo, check it out, Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube, all that fun stuff. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, 10 o'clock right here on the Fun Speculation channel for FSP, Fun Pop, and Xbox Ultimate. I'm sure this week is going to be great for gaming news, so...
Maybe they'll have some other little news that we don't know about that's going to happen this week. That'd be cool.
Never why so serious.
Never. Sometimes the community needs a distraction. You know what I mean? You need like a news distraction.
So if you want some distractions,
with news distractions every once in a while, the community snowballs out of fucking control of hysteria. It's weird.
Xbox needs a fucking distraction every other day, though. That's the problem.
There's a new sex VR game on Steam if you guys need a distraction.
Thanks for letting us know, man.
Well, now it's Apple.
Okay.
No, Apple blocked all the porn stuff on their VR thing. You can't do it. People are mad about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the point then?
Yeah.
There's all the people wearing the Apple Vision Pros, like with naked chicks in their living rooms. Is that what's happening?
Or they blocked
driving their Teslas?
You blocked it. Okay. Right.
Wow. $3,500 and you can't. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's
Why
made in
isn't
China.
this the controversy about having the freedom to do what you want with a device that you buy?
Here in America, you can't look at titties in VR space with Apple.
Just wait till Facebook comes back with like, hey, guess what you can do with a MetaQuest 2? MetaQuest 2.
Right? They took our titties for VR.
We even got a haptic dick holder for this thing. Let's go. No, anyway. Were you still doing your outro, Jasper?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
No,
He's like, I don't want to be a part of this VR stuff.
No, he's gonna buy that magnetic fucking dick holder thing.
The magnetic one? Was it Jasper has a metal dick? What's going on?
I don't know. Didn't you say magnetic?
No, I said haptic.
What?
Haptic.
Oh, haptic. Oh, I wasn't
We're about to
here.
get it on Ready Player One style.
Right. I mounted it underneath my desk.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Our shows always end this way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't been on for a while, you know.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Game Pass Dad.
Yeah, I can't go on MRI machines.
Where can I find you trying to jailbreak your Apple Vision Pro?
I'm jailbreaking my Apple Vision Pro right now as we speak. I spend a majority of my time on my iPhone already enjoying adult content. Therefore, no, you guys can find me here on Fridays usually, but I like to pop into the other shows when I can. Always appreciate getting the chance to talk with you guys. But Game Pass Dad, you guys can always follow me on YouTube for more of my takes on these types of conversations. I'm working on making more videos like that. So subscribe there if you want, or Twitter, Game Pass Dad, or I stream live on twitch.tv/Game Pass Dad Wednesdays and weekends. But yeah, always a pleasure to see you guys, and thank you all for letting me come talk about jailbreaking Vision Pros with you for adult reasons.
Yeah, right on, man. Thanks for being here. Fuzzy Belvedere, the one of us that might be interested in VR. Where can everybody find you?
Oh man, it was awesome being on here with you guys. Always a pleasure just chop it up with you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat for coming out, taking the time to watch us and interact with us. Greatly appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. For those that want to hear my rambles, rants, or just laughing at some of the memes that are going to be continuing in this off week or whatever of news, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you guys here for Xbox Ultimate, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday. Hey, have fun, play games, enjoy yourself, forget the noise until next week.
Yeah.
So be it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mav, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When are you gonna launch your new NPC platform?
What?
My NPC platform? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you know the whole NPC thing that people do. That
I know the
pretend they're
meme,
NPCs?
but I don't know where this is
Oh,
coming from.
Are you talking about where people like, yeah,
Yeah,
toasty?
yeah,
You know, that kind of shit. Yeah. It's like,
Toasty.
no time soon, my friend. No time soon.
Oh, okay. Are you listening and you hear us?
Spicy. Spicy.
Oh god.
It's 3-Bit's fault. It's 3
There you go.
Yeah, we could do it.
No,
I think it'd be excellent.
No,
Watch you do
no,
that.
no.
You get like
No,
$10,000
Yeah.
from all the.
no, have your NPC have it where if people put angry faces in the chat, you can do a rant.
Oh yeah. They just got to put the
Mav
Mav rant emoji. You have to be a member for those perks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you don't get the fucking the commercials. You gotta be commercial free.
Yeah. Can we leave? Can we leave? Can we get 3-Bit's outro so we can get out?
Oh, 3-Bit hasn't done his outro
No.
yet. I'm sorry, 3-Bit.
3-Bit. Hey, where can everybody find you, bro?
Great show, y'all. Everybody in the chat, you're level-headed. You guys all had like your takes and, and things
Boom's
like
chat
that,
this morning was fucking
Oh my god,
crazy, dude. It was
It
like
was
Civil
crazy.
War in there, man. I'm
dude,
glad
what
I
was
got
that
everybody
guy
to
even
turn-
talking about?
I
Grimly?
don't
mean,
want to get
I've
into
had battles with
No,
the
he's cool.
guy in the past.
Yeah, he's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
But
no, he's fine. He just had a different perspective on it. Like, I think people were
Yeah.
going a little too far on him earlier.
Yeah,
He was being a little
he wasn't
combative.
like to sort of clarify on that because I was on that panel. He didn't get kicked out. A lot
No.
of people were like,
His
"You
computer
silenced him."
froze.
Yeah,
He lost connection.
There
Yeah,
was
we
some,
knew
He lost
there was a
connection.
lot of emotion in that chat earlier, and things are going like
Yeah, it
crazy,
was.
bro. Anyway.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, I'll be
anyway.
on. Yes, sorry to interrupt your outro with a plug of my own.
Yeah.
I will.
Funny you should mention that.
this stream is sponsored
hold
by.
Oh shit!
Hold on, 3-Bit. We'll get to you. We'll get to you.
Matt Rules' channel with an
Let me
iron
plug
fist.
myself real quick. Hold on, 3-Bit.
Go ahead, Mav.
I'll be on, I forgot to say it earlier. I'll be on X-Vlog with Boom on Thursday. Okay, sorry, bro.
Okay.
Anyway,
Uh,
all right.
I'll
What kind of things are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. About 3 million. No. I'm gonna have Pixelated Echoes every Sunday starting on the 18th. That is a show I'm starting with me and Steel. So a lot of the work behind the scenes, it's almost done. I'm so excited to launch with that. Other than that, I'll see you guys possibly on Friday. And then you guys in chat have been awesome. Thanks for popping on by. Everybody's sort of freaking out right now, but it always helps to just sort of watch, ponder the storm. We'll see. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Love y'all. I'll see you guys on the next one.
What day again for Pixelated Echoes is the launch date?
It's the 18th.
18th.
So me and Steel officially start on 18th. We're gonna have guests like every other week. It's not like it is a one-on-one podcast for some of it. The launch will be, but we're gonna have like guests and stuff come on by. So it'll be a cool show. Me and Steel have very different takes, so I feel like that's just gonna be a good show.
Yeah, it's gonna
In
be
general,
it's gonna be fun, man.
it's
I'm
gonna be
curious how it's gonna play out. Like, and is it be weekly?
Yep. Yeah, every
Okay.
Sunday.
Right on.
Should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to it, 3-Bit.
Yep. Yeah, it's happening.
If you're allowed to miss one a month,
One. Okay, I get a free pass.
one every 6 weeks. That's a little too. One every 6
Okay.
weeks.
All right, 6 weeks.
Okay.
That's
All right, everybody, you've been real. It's been fun. Have a good one. Take it easy. And damn it, it's 3-Bit's fault. All this is happening. Bye.
me.